Alrighty, and welcome everybody to week 2 of semester 2 of the Dota 2 tournament for AEL. My name is Jackson Kadius Woodward, and I'm joined here on the desk by BluePanda. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Look, some people know me. I was part of the Rainbow Six broadcast team here for the University League, but I've jumped over to one of my passions that I've been following for a long time. I'm here for Dota. I'm ready to go. I'm keen, and from the sounds of it, we have an interesting week ahead of us.
Absolutely. We've got a great game on today. It's going to be a couple of Group A teams. We've got UNSW Raw versus QUT G-War, and they're going to be battling it out in our first game of the week for today. So what are your expectations? Anything you're particularly looking forward to maybe seeing today, BluePanda?
Look, it's one of those things. I've always promised myself that I would get into casting Dota 2, and it comes around the international. That's when I get into it. But coming in, I've seen the way that the games have been played this year, and this time I've made the decision to finally jump in, get involved in the game. And the way that the meta has established itself at the moment, it's very interesting, it's very dynamic. It allows for some of those diverse picks to come through while not being hard locked to, like it was, say, 4 or 5 years ago, where you pick this one character as your carry and then hard stuck that, otherwise you were going to lose out. So I'm looking for that diversity and adaptability here on the day.
Well, we are already hopping right into draft here. We have a look. Looks like Winter Wyvern and Nyx Assassin going to be first bans on both sides here. Interesting to see, both of them more on the support character side. What do you think this means for the upcoming drafts? You think we're going to be seeing some early support picks, and that's what they're trying to take out early?
10 seconds remaining.
Already it looks like they're targeting some of those disrupt factors. I mean, you look at a big team fight that could go down. Winter Wyvern is obviously going to turn the tide of that, having the ability to, shift focus, keep one of those carries safe if she needs to at any one time. And then you look at the likes of Nyx, who is going to be looking for the scout, going to be looking for that information, not to mention the lockdown and control that he possesses as well. So, you can already see that they're trying to enable their own draft at the moment already.
Yeah, definitely. I can see that one happening. Now, while we're just in draft, waiting for these players to do their thing, if we want to, do we want to talk about today's sponsors for the AEL Semester 2?
Yeah, I mean, the sponsors here that enable a broadcast like this, they're phenomenal. Obviously, Chatime, the big sponsors for the competition, have been enabling them so very, very well. And then, I mean, no surprise that you got Indomie backing them up as well. Indomie is staple with not only the university sort of scenario, but also Dota as well as a whole. You name a more iconic duo. AOC, the best viewing experience, the phenomenal monitor development that they've come through, and then obviously the newest sponsor of the team, the RIG guys, the headsets, they do some big work, and especially in a game like Dota 2, you want that communication, you want the info. And as we head into the first pick phase, we've seen Brood and Phoenix banned out as well.
Yeah, definitely. What do we think about these two? Now, it definitely does seem like they are just attacking what are the high win rate characters here, but I know Luna is a little bit problematic right now, but not getting taken out in the first phase could likely be that picking an early kind of position 1 like Luna does pigeonhole your draft a little bit and can enable a lot of counterplay from the opposition. So not quite banning her out just yet, instead opting for those more kind of flexible position 4, position 2, position 3 even sort of picks here. And it does look like Lena is going to be the first lock-in for G-War. Followed up by Puck for UNSW Raw.
I mean, yeah, obviously Lena's been a huge rise in priority. She's been such a critical pick for a lot of teams as of late, and then seeing that Puck coming in makes a lot of sense as well. A huge amount of control coming out of the little fairy dragon. Interesting that we see this telegraphed early. Usually you would imagine some supports to come through early, try and keep those more pertinent picks later on into the draft, even towards that second and third phase, but no, looks like UNSW, cards on the table, same with the likes of QUT. Second pick, it's going to be a Lion. So already we're starting to see a lot of control coming out of University of New South Wales.
We are definitely seeing a very magic damage heavy draft coming through from the side of UNSW. Raw does open up the possibility of maybe some of those more kind of anti-magic damage picks to come through, anti-control sort of picks. Especially position 1s like the Anti-Mage does come to mind, though maybe not the best hero at the moment. Haven't exactly seen him very high trending on those meta charts, but nevertheless, he is a carry that can really, really stand the test of not just getting one shot by these characters. However, Lion does have some pure damage coming out of that Finger of Death. So, magic resistance itself isn't going to be a massive savior here. Same with Laguna Blade on the side of Lena, I believe, once she gets that Aghanim Scepter going. Night Stalker coming through here, though. Not a hero that I've seen a whole lot of in recent times. So this is quite exciting to see.
Yeah, I mean, look, I will be the first to admit I'm someone who follows a lot of esports, so my attention is sometimes spread quite thin. But even the matches of Dota that I've seen, I very rarely have seen a Night Stalker. So
absolutely,
obviously, QUT coming in with a bit of spice, a bit of change up, and I did say that deviation, that its ability could be coming into play here. Obviously, Night Stalker, pretty powerhouse in its own right, depending on what position it falls into, but clearly, QUT are coming in with a pretty decent plan, and against the roster that UNSW are already bringing, you want some survivability, you want some more late game focus, given the priority that they're already showing.
Yeah, definitely, and I think Night Stalker is a great pick here into the early Pug shown. The Puck, not the Pugs, should I say. The Puck. Because Night Stalker simply does have that big factor of the point-and-click silence, and, Puck, very, very slippery fairy, going to be looking to use all of the mobility and the slipperiness at its disposal there, likely in the mid lane or off into a side lane, playing, usually the position 3, position 4, or position 2 roles. But Night Stalker, point and click, long duration silence that comes online fairly early in the game. Really, really good at being able to freely set up ganks onto the Puck. You drop the silence, enable Lena to land the Sunstrike array for the stun, and then you use Night Stalker's nuke, Lena's nuke, and the Puck just explodes. So a lot of kill pressure here onto this Fairy. We're going to have to see some very careful play coming out of him. Lion as well, not a very mobile character, capable of getting away from Night Stalker if he does drop the stun, drop the silence onto that kind of a caster. He's not going to be able to do much to get away from such a scary threat. So I do like the Night Stalker in response to these picks, but at the same time, he is also a character that, not very prominent during the day. That silence, very short duration when it's not nighttime. So they're going to have to definitely play around that a little bit and play more passively on the side of G-War during the daytime cycles. If we want to turn our attention, though, over towards some of the other bands that we've just seen come out here, Nagasarian and Pugna for the side of G-War, and Ursa and Drow Ranger really attacking that position 1 role from the side of UNSW Raw. What are your thoughts here?
I mean, I respect the Naga and the Pugna. 100%. This is to remove a lot of that tower pressure. I mean, you've got a Naga, those constant illusions are going to be able to shove out lanes, clear out those towers. Obviously not super quickly, but Pugna fills a similar role, plus his synergy with both the Puck and the Lion. I can understand where they're coming from. QUT obviously have an understanding of what their opponents will be doing, but then you look at what UNSW ban out. Both the Ursa and the Drow, two pretty heavy carries, which are quite prominent in the meta at the moment. They don't want to enable one of those super late game monsters that could come into the fold to deal with, great, Lion and Puck are phenomenal in the early to mid game where they can deal that damage, but they need some heavy hitter later on to close things out, and they're targeting away the likes of an Ursa and a Drow who can outlast them.
Yeah, definitely. Ursa, Drow, very, very scary heroes at, their explosiveness. Ursa, blink into just absolutely demolishing someone, especially once he gets a basher going. It has very little counterplay to it. And as well as that, Drow, obviously, the silence, very, very good at kind of keeping Night Stalker away, using that silence to stop him from landing the nuke and gap closing. And the slow is just really annoying for Night Stalker to deal with. Relies on that nighttime movement speed to get on top of people and deal with them. And, Drow is just going to make that a whole lot more difficult. So interesting that UNSW Raw here did ban out that kind of a carry. Maybe a little bit concerned of a little bit of overstacking in the way of silences. They did see the Night Stalker come out, looking to maybe get rid of Drow Ranger as well, just because then it might be a little bit too much in the way of silences for this Puck to deal with. But Bat Rider and Slark are going to be our next bans here, and we're going to head into our second pick phase. What are your expectations here coming in here based on the bans?
I mean, already, like UNSW, you could feel the priorities a little bit more urgent. They need something very well-rounded in terms of the carry. They've got high priority in the magic damage with the Puck and the Lion, so they need something that is a little bit more in the physical, because with the Night Stalker, he's a strength hero. Obviously, he's going to be a little bit more survivable. And given the lineup that QUT are looking for, there is a possibility that they play a little bit more for the late game and could just outpace UNSW going into the later phases. So I'm looking for maybe a beefier support here at the moment. And, well, there we go. Undying something like that, it still could be flexed into, pos 3 into that offlane position. But I'm imagining, yeah, this is probably going to be one of the support pairings. A little bit more survivability, a little bit of frontline.
Yeah, absolutely. Undying really is great when you are dealing with something like a Night Stalker who wants to use that first nighttime cycle to really kind of wreak some havoc, start snowballing, because Night Stalker is a character that does kind of fall off later into the game, but he is a strength hero who relies on early game pressure, and what better hero in this entire game at shutting down early pressure from strength heroes than Undying, who is just going to be taking away all those stats, making their right clicks do a lot less damage, and just being extremely scary in both the laning phase than Undying. So I do like that kind of a pick here. Definitely one of Night Stalker's weaker points, I feel, because the silence doesn't really matter to Undying once he gets the tombstone down, pops the ulti in a team fight. Who cares if he's silenced? He's basically done his job at that point. We are seeing Shadow Shaman come through here. The lockdown is relentless on the side of G-Warrior. This puck is definitely going to be having a hard time.
Yeah, those early rotations could definitely upset the momentum of UNSW if they lose a lot of that early presence in the mid lane. Puck, I mean, it's not hugely vital that Puck gets heaps of farm, but you're wanting the likes of the Blink Dagger, you want to get some of those early items online so that you can impact the map in a meaningful way as a mid laner. And it's more that well-rounded comp that's coming out of QUT. They got a high hitter in the form of Lina, you got some solid control in the form of Night Stalker, and then you've got that tower pressure, you've got the lockdown, you've got the burst as well out of Shadow Shaman. So far, QUT, they're looking a little scary. I don't think they have revealed their pos 1 just yet. I don't think Lina is going to be the likes of that carry.
Neither team likely has here, no.
Yeah, from what I'm seeing. So there is potential that this could be quite a scary QUT lineup.
Yeah, I do think picking the Puck into the Lina, if both of those are ending up being pos 2, is quite fine. I think Puck has the range to kind of deal with Lina, also has the wave clear to deal with Dragon Salve being kind of spammed with the Q in that lane phase. But it does look like Dragon Knight is going to be the lock-in here, which is something that I'm quite favorable of. He's a character that, you know, very, very high amounts of armor, which makes him pretty prevalent here at dealing with Night Stalker. Also kind of hard for Lina to one-shot due to the amount of health that he gets. Lina's burst rotation,
5 seconds remaining.
you know, it likely not going to be enough to burst through that with the Laguna Blade towards the later stages of the game. So I do like picking something very durable into this comp here. They'll likely need to pick something that's able to be a bit of a tank shredder in response. Otherwise, this Dragon Knight and this Undying are just going to scale out of control. And Necrophos, percent health damage. We were just talking about it. And there it is, locked in for the side of G-War.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a massive fan of the Dragon Knight, honestly. I may have dropped some levels to get the persona in the battle pass, but we'll talk about that at a different time. But this is the well-roundedness we're seeing out of UNSW. You've got the early game pressure, mid-game pressure out of the Puck Lion, you've got the consistent pressure out of the Undying, and then you've got Dragon Knight, who is just, you get the farm, you get the levels, that late game menace, and the Necrophos, a phenomenal response to it. 2 fairly beefy strength heroes in the Undying and the Dragon Knight. Necrophos is going to be a real thorn on the side, plus the execute on top of it. Honestly, I could not think of a better hero to pick into this comp.
Yeah, not only that, but Necrophos having the ability to just, you know, use that Q to give your teammates a little bit of a burst heal when maybe Lion thinks that he has the kill with Finger of Death, and then boom, the heal comes through, you miss the ulti, and then all of a sudden you have just kind of lost your ability in team fights. Of course, a little bit of a double-edged sword. As we know, Necrophos does have that ability that is like the Ghost Scepter, makes him immune to physical damage, but does increase magic damage taken. So if he gets caught lacking using that at the wrong time and gets Finger of Death by Lion, he is going to absolutely explode. He has to keep that one in mind here. But looking at the bans, Lone Druid is going to be the second to last ban for G-War, and it looks like Morphling getting taken out of the equation from the side of UNSW Raw as well. Phantom Assassin getting taken out of the equation. Makes a lot of sense. Phantom Assassin is a character that is a little bit difficult for this kind of squishy-ish lineup for G-War to deal with. Night Stalker, fairly tanky, but not until the later stages of the game. Tinker getting brought through here. That is likely going to be the position 2 for G-War, which does mean this Lina will be going off to a side lane, as well as the Necrophos and the Night Stalker. Dragon Knight and Puck still potential position 2s. We're going to be able to find out exactly what they're going for here. PL did get banned out. Spectre. Oh my
That's what I was
goodness.
expecting. So I'm thinking, Pos 1 will probably be the Spectre, Pos 2 the Puck, Pos 3 the Dragon Knight. But on the side of QUT, I could almost see this as being, Pos 1 Necro, Pos 2 Tinker, Pos 3 Night Stalker, and then Lena Shadow Shaman support, because I mean the Light Strike away plus the Shackles, that is a scary duo support combo.
Yeah, definitely I could see that being a thing. This Night Stalker, he's got some drip going on. This is awesome. I don't think I've seen this set in game.
Look, I'll be honest, like, Dota 2 cosmetics are the bane of my bank account.
They are so cool. And the Spectre, definitely, I mean, Spectre, if you've been following the trends, one of the best positioned ones at the moment. An absolute menace. Late game, they are just going to probably run over the game with this Spectre. I don't think they have enough kind of true damage to really deal with him. They do have Tinker with the laser. They have Lena with obviously Laguna Blade, but outside of that, I think the Spectre is going to scale into an absolute monster. So the onus really is going to be on them stopping this Dragon Knight from hitting that, third rank of ultimate, the Black Dragon with the Aghanims, as well as Spectre, hitting that Radiance Mana style timing, etc. with the Heart of Tarask and just being absolutely unkillable. Not only that, but lots of control on both sides. We've got, lots of AoE CC coming out from the side of, the Lena. We've got single target lockdown coming out from Shadow Shaman, Necrophos ulti, and then lots of AoE as well. We've got Puck, we've got Dragon Knight. There is just going to be so much going on in these team fights, and I am super keen to hop into it. So without further ado, let's hop in game and see exactly what is going to be going on.
I'm sitting here trying to figure out. I mean, you look at the lineup that we have for both teams. On the side of UNSW, the picture is very clear of what they want to do. They want to go for that survivability. They want to keep things going as long as possible.
We got a pause going on here already.
The better the chances that they're going to have a win. But you look at QUT. This is a team who is going to struggle past the 25-35 minute mark. If it does get to that point, hands down, UNSW win. Like, I just don't think there is enough here for QUT to deal with a late game Spectre, Dragon Knight, and Lion.
Yeah, I definitely think the side of QUT scales like an absolute machine. We are just waiting on a pause here for the time being, though. I think we're going to be maybe being here for a while. I'm not exactly sure how long we're going to be specified for this to take. But honestly, looking at the two drafts here, I do think that they have the early game going for, this kind of early game composition where you have, the Tinker who's likely going to be rushing those BOTs, running around the map, pushing things down, getting towers extremely quickly. Night Stalker, those first few night cycles, is an absolute ganking menace. And then Necrophos, pretty much a threat at all stages of the game once he gets that ultimate online and you're low health. And then Lena can just pop out of nowhere, pop the Laguna Blade, and bam, you are evaporated. And combine that with Shadow Shaman, obviously just always having that random Shadow Shackles X factor of just locking someone down and killing them. Being an excellent setup as well for Shadow Shackles into Light Strike Array from the Lena, just to do a tremendous amount of CC. Definitely a combo that I think we're going to be seeing this game for sure. But they're definitely going to have to make it happen, because if they just kind of dawdle around and don't get enough done, QUT are going to get their items. And I don't know how many times you've had to play against the Black Dragon, Dragon Knight, and a Spectre that's got full build, but it does feel like your hero is just not made equally at that point of the game. It is very difficult to do anything.
No, I had the misfortune last night, so I was busy trying to get, my Kevin crawl done. I was on to Phantom Assassin. I was so close to getting the set, and I think I ran into a 4-stack of all like level 25 players, like they were level 25 Invoker, level 25 Pudge. It was brutal. And after that game, I kind of gave up. But yeah, seeing that massive late game beast that the likes of a Dragon Knight and a Spectre can be, this is a match of urgency. QUT need to be urgent. They need to get those early picks, early items to be able to close this out, because otherwise they're going to find themselves literally stuck under a steamroller that is the UNSW lineup.
Yeah, it does look like, having a look at the items here, we are going to see Dragon Knight in the position 3. We're going to see this Lion here on the position 4, and then it does look like it's going to be a 5 from the Undying here, from Xeon Flux. Does have that Sentry Ward, the double Mango, just going to be looking to really poke it down, likely going into that safe lane as the Pos 5, likely to match what I believe they're expecting to be a Pos 3 Night Stalker, which, based on where he's pathing here, does look like it is going to be the case. Boy. He is going to be going that Pos 3 Night Stalker. So having the Undying match him, very, very intelligent in what they predicted the enemy to be doing here. And that's going to be a great matchup coming out of this safe lane here. Just going to be an absolute domination. Undying into Night Stalker. He's definitely going to have to try and make those mid lane roams happen in order to get much done. Because when you're matching an Undying as a strength hero early, it is definitely not a fun time. I can think of better ways to spend my time playing Dota 2.
Well, I don't know if you have chat on, because I know for a fact in Rainbow Six, usually the Observer does not. But apparently Chill Guy on the lane has 1k ping and 60% packet loss, which is why we have the pause in effect. We also did have confirmation, I believe it was, it was out of Xeon Flux, that apparently 1k is higher than his MMR. So unfortunate at the end of the day. I think, we are maybe going to have a remake, maybe get one of the subs in here for QUT. But, look, it is what it is. They've already picked their heroes. They've got to stick with what they've already got. Kadius, this could be kind of brutal.
Could definitely be an interesting scenario, but, I mean, we didn't really talk about exactly what the starting items are here for, this QUT lineup. We're looking at what they're going for here. Shadow Shaman does look like he does have, the Sentry Ward, the regen, very typical kind of position 5 sort of items. Likely going to be seeing him in that role. Tinker, of course, very minimal items here. Likely is going to be that Pos 2 looking for an early bottle rush, I would imagine, in the mid lane. And then this kind of, stick plus tangos. 4 branches, one of these two are definitely going to be going mid. Quite unsure as of yet. I would imagine it's going to be Tinker. He does like to really get that solo gold and that solo XP, getting him to those early BOTs.
Pos 1 Necrophos at the moment. But everyone's left the lobby, so it looks like we are going to have a remake, unfortunately.
Definitely very unfortunate.
QUT will have to call in that sub. Unfortunately, Chill Guy just having some net issues. At the end of the day, the match will resume itself. It's going to close itself out. And, we will have to get ourselves back into this.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to be heading over to our next game. Just going to have to look at exactly what's going to be set up for that. But, folks, I think we're just going to throw it over to a quick break while we get this one set up. And then we will come back very shortly when we're in the lobby, getting ready to hop into this game 1. And hopefully we don't have any more 1k ping scenarios from certain leaners. But we'll see you in just a moment, folks. Alrighty, folks, we are about to hop right on in to our next couple game here. You can see we're about to hop into the lobby. Thank you so much for everyone who's been nice and patient. But, you know, obviously internet issues do happen in Australia, but, you know, hopefully should be nice and resolved now. We're just waiting on the last member here of GWAR to hop into the draft, and then we're going to be seeing likely the same drafts, I imagine.
Yeah, from what we've heard, it's same draft, same bands, and we will be heading into it. Obviously, because of the stage of the game that it did happen, everything was sorted, everything was good, other than Chill Guy's internet. So you got to make do with what you got. But we started to see the indicators of what each team was looking to go for. QUT, they're looking for some heavy early game pressure. They want to close it out nice and early, whereas UNSW, they want to be able to weather that storm, go the late game, and it's a scary late game at that. Dragon Knight and a Spectre going into, 25, 30 plus minutes. GWAR could find themselves in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, I mean, it is going to be one of those things where, it's going to be a battle against the clock. And I mean, myself in Dota 2, I am maybe not so much anymore, but I remember like back when I used to play a lot, very, very dead set kind of position one player. And, that was my thing. The team would just be absolutely getting crushed in the early game. You just be sitting there while your team is just dying, farming your neutral camps, pushing out your side lanes, and then eventually you hit your item spikes and the game just suddenly turns on its head. And that is kind of the beauty of Dota 2, where, if you have these early game comps and you are snowballing, you do have to close the game out because there's always that threat of that position 1 carry hitting the item spikes, outscaling you. And when you don't really have a proper position 1 physical damage carry like the draft we saw, that can be a problem that does kind of arise itself. Now, we are officially hopping back into our draft here, but it has been confirmed that they are going to be doing the exact same drafts, so shouldn't really matter on the order. They're just going to probably do random bans by the looks of things. Oh, they haven't even done bans. They're doing all pick
I think
here.
they've just gone with it. Makes a lot of sense. You don't want to waste any time getting into this matchup because I mean, I've come from Rainbow Six, and it's those times in between rounds, especially because the likes of attack pause that can delay the momentum. So you don't want to hold off. You want to get straight into a game. You want to get playing, keeps you in that competitive mindset. So I'm not surprised at all that we're seeing them speedrun this. But
seeing a speedrun, a little bit of an all pick. Definitely, I'm sure the viewers will appreciate that one, hopping into the game nice and quick. But I'm just keen to see some laning started. We've been sitting here for quite a while trying to sort out these technical issues, and they obviously do happen. But I'm keen to sit down and watch some Dota personally. And
we do have a saying in the Rainbow Six community: it would not be an ANZ tournament if there were not tech issues of some sort.
Oh, absolutely, isn't that the truth? But to anyone just tuning in now, as we're about to hop into the game, this first match here of week 2 is going to be between UNSW Raw and QUT GWAR. So obviously university, great universities here that are going to be battling it out, and I'm definitely excited to see exactly what the players are going to be doing. I imagine there's not going to be much of a change to starting items. It doesn't look like that's going to be the case. Going to be quite similar right across the board. And looks like this Lina actually does have the Arcana, whereas the previous Lina was pretty much default appearance. So I guess they've upgraded in Lina players. Swap it right over to the game here for us.
Well, we saw that early smoke coming out of the side of UNSW, but nothing huge to be found just yet. They did get a nice early ward down, but QUT have matched them for it. A little bit hesitant, but you look, QUT, they're on the hunt. They know they need to get the train rolling nice and early to be able to threaten and get some pressure going.
Spectre is kind of alone in that safe lane, but they don't end up collapsing on him. They are just going to start moving towards that mid lane, looking to maybe catch out the position 2 of UNSW Raw here.
It's that constant dance at the start of the game. You always love to see it. It's one of those things that could determine all of the momentum. Down on the bot side, though, we do see one camp already being blocked, trying to deny that pull nice and early. It's exactly what you're looking at. That's exactly what UNSW want. They want to deny the potential of this position 3 position 1 necro, sorry, I would imagine.
Yeah,
not getting any farm. And that's what it is looking like. But
yeah, really great early sentry ward. It doesn't look like
Night Stalker is going to be heading down to the long lane, it seems.
Very interesting stuff. They're going to have the Night Stalker plus the Shadow Shaman in the safe lane, opting to instead put this Spectre kind of, in a little bit of a precarious situation. Gonna have to be going up against some very scary characters in this safe lane. Lina and Necrophos, tons of burst damage once those ultimates come online. And very smart as well from, their side, being able to really put, UNSW Raw having their strength heroes on the opposite side of the map to where this Undying is, but you can still see kind of Undying very capable of bullying characters that aren't strength heroes, really laying down on this Lina here at the moment.
Middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, just Xeon Flux is going to be able to give so much room to Orange Sunset at the moment. And you can see, he's already single-handedly bullying both players from the side of QUT out of this lane. Spectral Dagger out, Ancient Slayer, he's having a very rough time despite having that survivability for Death Pulse. Yeah, it's great and all, but if the constant decays are coming out, you're not going to be healing nearly as much Light Strike away to deny that threat. And New South Wales are having a phenomenal time already. It's only a minute 30 in.
Yeah, definitely. Xeon Flux, the only concern here is going to be his mana pool, but hold up, he's gotten hit by the Light Strike away, getting quite low. Ancient Slayer, though, Spectral Dagger is going to land. Xeon Flux doing his best to chase him down, but the auto attacks coming through from Paint.net, forcing him to back off a little bit early. Does not have a salve available to regen him up, neither does Orange Sunset, so he's going to have to use those tangos to the best of his ability, but a little bit of a limitation here in regards to regen. We'll see exactly how he's going to deal with that. Decided to go a little bit greedy with the double mango, really thinking that he could just beat down in this lane with a little bit of mana, and unfortunately getting a little bit greedy on the regen purchases, and it might suffer for it. Orange Sunset now getting collapsed on 2v1 in this safe lane. Xeon Flux a little bit too low to go in. If he walks in and gets stunned, it could be the death of him, but he's going to evade out of line of sight. Let's have a look at the other lanes now. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Tinker, a level up, does look like he is doing wonders. We'll have a look at the last hits denies here. Tinker is absolutely kind of gapping in the mid lane right now during these first few waves. Definitely a few CS up and a few denies, which is what you love to see.
Elite is just confident as anything. Just for him to be able to walk up past the river as far as he did without any concerns is probably a bit of an issue for UNSW. Obviously, mid probably is going to be their weak point. If they can shut down the puck, this is where QUT could look to pop off, especially with an early bottle already. So you want to see some early rotations from supports to get potentially, if not an advantage, but get them on even ground.
Ooh, meanwhile, in the safe lane, we do see Ancient Slayer / Slain going in here on Xeon Flux.
Or down bottom.
Courier has been killed.
First Blood getting snagged here by the looks of things, going over to the side of this Dragon Knight. One of those heroes we talked about not wanting to be able to snowball very easily, and now he's getting that early gold injection. And they also are able to snag the courier of UNSW Raw. So, pretty much a double win here. A little bit of a gold swing early over to the side of QUT, which is absolutely the opposite of what the game plan should be here from UNSW. Paint.net looking for Xeon Flux here. The Light Strike Array is off cooldown. Decides not to tempt the high ground. Going to be backing off.
Denied.
Man, it's just full force all across the map. Paint looking for a bit of flank on Orange. Not going to find much more than damage. And Xeon Flux still playing a dangerous game.
They are going in onto Troy in the bot side here. That Night Stalker getting quite low. The double stun setup here from Lion and Dragon Knight, very, very scary. You get hit by, either one of them, the other one is going to be sure to follow, and the burst damage from both of these characters in the early game, quite significant. Obviously, we do see Dragon Knight has not put any points into the Breathe Fire just yet, so he doesn't have that nuke available. Makes a lot of sense when you are in a lane like the hard lane, not looking to push it out early. Just going to be instead looking to grab those last hits, skill up the E, get nice and tanky. Bit of a kill on the top side here, actually. Xeon Flux grabbing a nice solo kill onto Paint.net. Looks like they were able to collapse on him, overextending a little bit too hard. You see Xeon Flux going for a stack here onto the easy camp. He's going to grab it. That's going to be great early gold going over to Spectre.
I mean, Paint was at the exact same amount of health as Xeon, but Xeon had the Mango, popped it, Decay into Soul Rip, which has 2 points in it as well. And that was enough to take down the unfortunate leader. 2 early kills onto UNSW. This is not at all the momentum that QUT want. That, though,
Tower's getting very low here. Hero, one more auto will do the trick. He is able to get the return kill over to Tao. Pops the stun and is going to be looking to kite this one out back off to safety. Troy, no mana in his pool available to stop this one in its tracks. He's going to look for the re-engage though. This Night Stalker being quite belligerent during the nighttime. Teleport coming back in from Lion though. He is going to have to back up as a group of pandas does arrive on the scene. Meanwhile, in the top side, Orange Sunset left 2v1 under this tower, Undying, going on a little bit of a field trip towards the mid lane, maybe looking to set up a bit of a gank onto Elite now that this Dream Coil is available from the side of Shizuya.
Bottle that we do have the rearm as well. Or Xeon is going to just snag away this invis.
Really
this
nicely
this has been a battle of supports throughout the 6 minutes already.
Which is what you want to see out of early game Dota, right? Like if the position 1s and the position 2s are having, you know, that early sway on the game, it's likely not going to be, you know, proper Dota. It means the supports likely aren't doing their job and they're just kind of giving too much space to these carries, too much respect to them early, instead of being a little bit belligerent, trying to, you know, be a bit of a cog in their game plan, so to speak. The Xeon Flux does have that Invis Runa. He might be looking to make something happen here. No, he's just going to walk up, use that Soul Rip, heal up the Spectre a nice little bit. Early points in the Soul Rip do make kind of that position 5 Undying fairly viable, as opposed to, you know, the position 3 sort of playstyle where you're going to be putting primarily a lot of points into Tombstone and just using that to farm up the waves. But hang on, Xeon Flux getting caught out here, uses Soul Rip to try and buy himself a little bit of HP. They're trying to turn it on to Ancient Slayer, but the right clicks are there from Paint.net. Here comes Puck though. Dream Coil lands itself onto 2. Ancient Slayer's gonna go down. Lina doing the best to get through Orange Sunset, but the wand is there, the silence to follow, and they're gonna find 2 kills. QUT finding themselves with a massive lead 7 minutes into this game.
Just under 1k but 3 kills, and you look at where those kills are. 2 on the Dragon Knight, 1 on Puck, 1 on Spectre. Yeah, and Xeon Flux has one as well. That's just adding to the capabilities of this roster going into late game. There, look at that. Even just picking up the bottle from the fountain, handing it over to Shizuya, who is going to be back ready to go with a mana pot as well. All the while, Elite still doing a great job farming up in the jungle. He's going to be able to get as much gold as possible with that March of the Machines. No real stacks, but look at the camps that are being blocked right now.
Hero has just popped the early Elder Dragon form at level 1, Elder Dragon form at level 6, something that some Dragon Knights do. You know, you might see some of them not skill the ultimate until a little bit later on, making sure to skill up that E, get that extra armor, skill up that W, skill up that Q, you know, just get the wave clear, the stun, the armor, whatever you want first before you start looking for the ultimate. But no, he has skilled this at level 6 and he's looking to use that poison dot to melt down this outer tier 1, and they've actually forced the Fortifier out of the side of UNSW already at only 8 minutes.
And it's going to make things a little bit later, harder going sort of the 12.
Topside tower getting quite low though. The Diaf being forced to blow their Fortify as well. QUT gonna have to respond to this. We got Haunt coming out though from the side of Spectre, and they are able to find a nice kill in the mid lane.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
As a result of it,
Elite going down as well does mean that net worth isn't quite going to be able to compound. Obviously, it's another 16 odd seconds that he's down. He's now only 55 gold clear of Dragon Knight, which is rough, especially for a tanky. You want to keep compounding that gold increase. You want to be able to stack up camps, farm them, and unfortunately, getting caught out down bot the way he did. Yes, the Haunt was committed, but 100% a worthwhile kill. Plus, they can now pressure the tower given that Fortify was already used.
Yeah, but it's going to be with its cost, though, as we do see. We have the entirety of UNSW just clearing every single camp on the side of QUT's jungle before teleporting down bot side. But they're going to get caught out here. Dream Coil is landing onto 2. Reaper's Scythe is going to land onto Hero. Absolutely decimate him. Orange Sunset, though, in the meantime, grabbing a sneaky kill onto Elite, trying to TP out. We do have the TP coming through from the Undying, getting very low. But unfortunately, the cooldowns were not there from Tao to stop him in his tracks. And they were able to actually take top tower, sweep the entirety of the QUT topside jungle, get all of that gold, and then TP in and save the tier 1 tower. So this has actually been a massive play coming through from UNSW, and it's actually put them in a bit of a net worth.
Elite down twice already is proving to be a bit of a problem. He's at 1400. He's still, you know, 5.5 away from getting these boots of travel. But you look at all the camps that are currently being blocked.
Slayer is getting collapsed on here. The silence comes through. A group of pandas needs to get in range for that stun, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to find it. He's going to back off. Just going to try and push this in. Elder Dragon form coming through from Hero yet again to try and get this tier 1 tower down. But UNSW, they're just handshaking again. They're like, all right, you want to keep trying to take our bot side? We are just going to use this Tinker push, March of the Machines on the mid lane tier 1 and really try to open up this map.
Oh, Pandas. That's a dangerous game, buddy. He's got the invisibility there as well. He's going to pop it, just get the regen going, but Hero will finally finish off that bot tower.
Pandas does have that Boots of Tranquility to try and heal up, but yeah, you're right. Nearly got absolutely deleted there by Elite. Very, very low indeed. Xeon Flux kind of got a couple of points going in that Tombstone now. Going to be really good at, you know, keeping this push from happening. Tombstone, very strong Undying ability when it comes to denying enemy pushes into your territory. You just drop it kind of in the tree line. They can't hit it very effectively, and it's going to be spawning zombies, which are extremely annoying to deal with in the early game. They are going to maybe look to collapse here onto the Necrophos. The damage is there. Finger of Death comes through, and goodbye to Ancient Slayer. He is going to get blown up.
It's just the power of the Finger of Death. You can't mess around. And we are at that point. All the ultimates are online. Everyone's hit level 6. They did commit one of those times with Aldous just to get Lena into 6 so that he could look for something top. But Orange Sunset, not going to have any of it. He's just going to continue farming the jungle. But this is where things start to get a bit chaotic. Xeon Flux, he's not far off. He's literally a minuscule amount away from having that flesh golem. There we go. He's just hit it. Big item online now. Well, not a big item, but a pretty significant one for Sunset.
Tao is going to get the deny onto the Arcane Rune and then TP out, but Dream Coil comes through from Shizia just in time, followed up by the stun. This is going to be a very dead Shadow Shaman, and goodbye to Tao. Absolutely great use of the Dream Coil up onto the high ground there from Shizia to catch that one out.
It's unfortunate. We're sitting at the moment 12.5-ish minutes in. It's 3-9. And, you know, QUT running a comp that wants early priority. They want to get those early picks and those early levels. And they find themselves at a 6-kill deficit. They're in a position where they could lose even more at the moment. The TP's in. Could have been punished, but no. A little bit of hesitation.
Here we go. Troy Key, he is popping that Nighttime. Looking to go in here onto Hero. Light Strike Array is going to do its trick. Followed up by the big damage. Laguna Blade into Reaper's Scythe. That seems like overkill. He is just going to get all the single target ults clicked on him. Poor guy. You know, that's the thing about Dragon Knight, right? He has all that armor from his passives, but it's not going to save you against the belligerent quantities of magic damage coming through from the side of UNSW's comp. They do have those Serpent Wards coming down onto this mid-tier 1. No Fortify available at this stage of the game, I do believe, and these are going to likely do the trick. Light Strike away, finding its mark onto Xeon Flux, and he's going to go down as well, and now the defenders for QUT are numbered, and I think they're just going to have to concede this tier 1 in the mid lane, and that's going to be the map massively opened up for UNSW.
I mean, what a way to bounce back in that situation. They turn things around, they get some much-needed reprisal. And they're looking for more. Troy looking to lead the charge. Once again, they're looking to clear out this jungle on the side of NSW.
Oh, it's going to be a TP coming in from Undying. Misses the Light Strike Array. Didn't quite time it properly, and that is going to be a cancel from Undying to not TP into 3 people. Very smart decision there, I think.
We are starting to get closer and closer to those key items coming out. I mean, look at Dragon Knight. Just shy of 2,000 gold, almost has that Blink Dagger up, and that's where things can start to really get scary. Haunt's available, they can look to make plays off it, and there we go.
Landed the stun onto Shadow Shaman. Light Strike Array does land onto 3 people, though. Might buy enough time for Tao to get out. No, it won't. Great stun coming through from a group of pandas is going to do the trick, and now Paint.net is running for his life. We have QUT in hot pursuit, but does look like they're just going to let him get out to safety. Try and set up something on the other side of the map, potentially. Tinker does have to watch out here. He has those BOTs available to TP out if necessary. But hang on, here comes Shizia. Haunt is there. They're going to go in. The Dream Coil is applied, and that is going to be way too much burst damage. Unfortunately, he eats a laser into the Blade Mail from Orange Sunset, and that is going to be a bit of a stop hitting yourself moment as he shreds his own health bar in such a short amount of time.
And off the back of it, Pandas and Xeon pop the smoke. They're looking to get some deep wards down. Might even look for a bit of a wraparound onto Troy if they can get that information. But as we head into nighttime, probably less of a possibility, so they will just clear out some of these jungle camps. There we go, Dark Ascension. This could be dangerous for Hero.
Yeah, Hero does have to watch out here. Troy Oi is super huge during the nighttime. Look at his skill build here. We can see he has, you know, that full rank nuke available during the nighttime. That is going to be super obnoxious. Just slows an absurd amount for such a long time. He's going to blink in, actually. Double silence. Light Strike Array onto the puck, as well as Laguna Blade, as well as Reaper's Scythe. They want that puck dead as soon as possible. Now they're looking for Hero. The slow is applied. We were just talking about it. Another Light Strike Array, followed up by the Death Wards. Xeon Flux has nowhere to go. He's going to get caught up by the Shackles as well, and that is going to be a slow death of 1,000 cuts. A group of pandas looking like he's going to be the next target of Troy Oi as he makes this absolute feast during the nighttime. Going from hero to hero, shredding through the side of QUT, making sure that these heavy carries that they have picked are not able to get any of this jungle farm. And we are just seeing UNSW do what they've done time and time again, which is find themselves at a little bit of a gold discrepancy, maybe fumble here and there, but then that nighttime comes around, the Night Stalker comes online, and they just make it happen.
I mean, I was talking about the DK about to pick up it's his Blink Dagger, but I mean, Troy was same amount of gold, and I wondered where he was going, and it was that Blink Dagger straight in, ready to go, and it's already paying out dividends. The amount of work we just saw put in by the Night Stalker, bringing that gap even closer. We see Elite again stacking up that gold. He's got the
very
VOTs.
scary here. We have to watch out. The Spectre could be going down. Laguna Blade plus Shackles, Finger of Death, everything. Spectre goes down. Big Dream Coil is going to lock up the other two. It's a 3v2 situation. Hex landed onto Lena. Ancient Slayer trying to TP out. They don't have the CC to stop him. He is going to live another day, but absolutely massive for QUT, picking up 3 kills of UNSW, overextending in their jungle.
I just don't, it's not worth it. Yes, QUT are looking for this death ball team fight style of Dota, and it is working for them, but in that situation, heavily overextended. They do get the Spectre, but Spectre's still top of net worth, and they lose 3 players for it. That you got to question the decision making there. Yes, you want to be fighting with this roster for QUT, but consistently forcing moment after moment is going to cost you.
Has to be careful. These rockets are doing some considerable damage. One more would have done the trick. I think we had Undying there, Xeon Flux popping the Soul Rip onto a group of pandas. Otherwise, that likely would have been death, that little bit of a heal necessary to keep him alive. I think he popped the wand as well. Very scary how this Tinker is just at that stage with that rearm where he's able to kill you from basically off screen if you're not careful.
We are starting to see some of these big items coming online. Boots travel in the hands of the puck, looking for his Blink Dagger. We have one on the DK. And then Lion only about 500 away from his. This UNSW, they're going to start to get pretty scary in the next couple of minutes once those key items get online. And QUT are going to find themselves in a spot where they really can't be running around alone, because one blink in is going to spell doom.
We do see a group of pandas. He does land the stun onto this Necrophos. Troy Oi coming in though. The silence, we talked about it. We talked exactly about this in the draft. He has nowhere to go and no way to counterplay that. He is just going to get melted down. Troy Oi doing exactly what they picked this hero for, and to great success. And it looks like UNSW maybe might find themselves this topside tier 2 as a result.
Yeah, Lord's in. I don't think it's even worth contesting at the moment. They're going to hard shove bot. Shizuya is going to go and start to clear out the wave. Hero's there as well. 12 seconds on that Elder Dragon form. Still only level 1 though. Hasn't been able to hit the level 12 to look to upgrade it, but they can maybe look to find themselves a tier 2 of their own. Nah, never mind. Elite's straight in, and that's a huge misplay out of NSW.
Yeah, that is definitely very unfortunate for QUT here. Here we go. They're going to go in. Dream Coil plus Haunt combo. We've seen it once. We'll see it again. Triple TP coming in, though, from the side of UNSW. They are hungry for these kills. Quadruple TP coming in from the side of UNSW. Now QUT have to be very careful. Troy Oi popping the ulti, blinking in, but getting stunned up right away. He's going to go down. Hex does land onto the Dragon Knight, but Hero... Now they have the damage. Finger of Death is going to finish the job, and he's going to go down. Unfortunate engage there from the side of UNSW. They have the blink in from Night Stalker, but no follow-up to do anything about it, and he just gets stunned up and melted down in that CC chain.
Yeah, I mean, you got to respect what Troy was trying to do. Unfortunately, with the DK on the high ground with the Blink Dagger of his own, just headed downhill, straight into the Dragon's Tail. No chance to combat it. They do lose out on, unfortunately, that Night Stalker, who has been a real powerhouse so far for QUT. There we go, another Blink Dagger online in the hands of the Lion. Group of Pandas is going to be the one to help set up a lot of these kills now.
One thing that's worth mentioning is we did just see Spectre pick up that Manta style, and he is going for a Diffusal Blade next by the looks of things.
Yeah, a little bit more priority on the survivability. I mean, that was probably to be expected, especially
oh my
with the
goodness, Hero with these
of
Blink Stuns, so oppressive. Laguna Blade finds itself onto Xeon Flux with the Soul Rip. The healing is just too much. Another two-man Dream Coil from Shizuya is going to tie up a large amount of the team, but here comes the rest of the cavalry. They come in, Xeon Flux running for his life, but the Rockets, Smoke of Deceit, used to dodge the Rocket at the last minute. What a play. Absolutely beautifully done, but the response coming through from UNSW keeps their members alive and turns around what was looking like a disastrous engagement on their end.
Now the question is, what can you find off the back of it? The questionable decision from NSW not to go back and heal. They want to try and contest this tier 2, but the wards, with everything, with the health bars on QUT, it's not worth it.
Yeah, Xeon Flux is running for his life. Is the damage going to be enough? No, it's not. Soul Rip yet again keeping him alive. This triple point Soul Rip is just doing dividends. Normally we see, you know, a lot of points put into Decay, but I think, you know, only Nightstalker being the only strength hero on their team, he's just not really found it that worthwhile, I suppose, and he's going for the Soul Rip instead to combat a lot of the burst damage on this comp, and I think that, you know, it really has done wonders. And in keeping him alive. It does have that max rank Tombstone though, which is very scary to deal with. Gonna likely see that Tombstone doing a lot of work in these upcoming team fights, enabling Spectre and Dragon Knight to really stick onto these players. But I want to talk about Shizuya. I don't think this man has missed a Dream Coil all game. He has just landed those consistent, like, key one-man Dream Coils or those 2 to 3-man Dream Coils every single fight, and it's absolutely been amazing. So this player really putting in a lot of performance on this puck pick.
Well, I mean, both him and Xeon Flux have 9 assists each, so that just goes to show how they've been involved. So, yeah, Shizuya has been involved in 11 kills, has only died to once. So 11 of 16 kills he has been a part of, and those Dream Calls have been such a key part of why. But, oh, look at this. They're gearing up for that push down bot. There is Elite here once again, who consistently has been caught out. We do see the Haunt up and available as well. If he gets scouted, that's another dead Tinker. Yeah, they have to watch out for Hero here. He does have that blink into the Dragon Tail available. Not what you want to get caught on the receiving end of. March of the Machines is used here from the Fog of War in the tree line to try and deal with these minions. Using those rockets with the rearm, but dropping the Tombstone here to try and get rid of his ability to do that freely, but it's just being a menace with these rockets. Ancient Slayer maybe getting caught out here. Dragon Tail, Finger of Death. We talked about the damage, and the damage was there. Big 3-man Dream Coil. Shizuya does it again. He's going to get melted down, followed up by Troy Oi, and Orange Sunset finding himself dominating with a triple kill as they're looking to clean up this bot side tier 2. This is just dangerous games. QUT had the momentum. They had the priority in this matchup. Elite again gets caught out down this bottom tier 2 tower, and a full team wipe coming out of NSW. They can even push high ground at the moment. They go for the pause. 2 minutes. Someone has to go to the bathroom. That's my call. I reckon that is exactly what needs to happen. But, I mean, why are QUT forcing it when they have the advantage? They have the momentum. This is where things get dangerous. This is a late game comp coming out of NSW. They force, they get caught, and allow NSW to do what they need to do.
Yeah, it definitely is very precarious. We've seen the side of UNSW really making the most of this composition where they've kind of just gotten the Shadow Shackles into just Laguna Blade, Tinker Laser, and then, you know, Reaper's Scythe, and just blown one person up. And that works really well in these early game skirmishes or these, you know, early game gangs. But when you're in a 5v5, blowing that many resources on one hero, you've got 5 heroes on a team. They are just going to get the rest of the other 4 to just overpower you without your resources there. So I think a little bit more of a smarter allocation to abilities is going to be necessary here in order to come out on top in this one.
I mean, just taking a look at the net worth. Orange Sunset, every time something has been going on that he knows he shouldn't be a part of, he's off farming. They lose players. He's off farming a side lane. He's 12,000 net worth, 2.5k clear of the next highest person, which is his own teammate Shizuya. Elite is having a horrendous game. He's 4th on the net worth table, has yet to get himself a single kill. They're about to lose high ground tower in the bot lane. There is nothing that can be done. Shizuya as well, he's off pushing top. They are consistently being efficient in the way they approach us. Tau might even die to the illusions. Has to pop the smoke just to survive.
Yeah, one big thing we're seeing here as well, if you look at the net worths in total, UNSW have both of their carries at higher net worth. Oh my goodness, hold on. Dreamcoil, this is Tinker getting caught out yet again. Elite, what are you doing, my good sir? The tips come through. Absolute disrespect all around from UNSW. But one thing that I do like to see here is UNSW have their carries at the higher net worth, but both of their supports are actually lower net worth than everybody on the side of QUT, which is really good. It means they've got extra good resource allocation on the side of their team. They are, you know, depriving more gold from their supports to do more damage on their carries here. And Laguna Blade comes through on Hero, but it basically tickles him with this Hood of Defiance. You need this Aghanim Scepter for this Laguna Blade to start doing pure damage before it's going to do anything on such a support build focused, you know, Lina. But I don't think she can get this Aghanim Scepter online before the game is looking to end here. I think QUT are a little bit too gold deprived.
It's not even a priority. The next item geared up is a sheep stick. That is what we are seeing prioritized here at the moment out of paint.net. That's interesting. Yeah, no real priority. But I mean, look at the way that we have things set up. Hero immediately acknowledges that there is significant investment in magic damage with this QUT lineup. Straight into the Hood of Defiance after his Blink Dagger. Wants that survivability. Wants to be able to survive the burst so that he can turn around Dragon Tail, a key target, and set up the team.
Not just going for that Hood of Defiance as well, but going for the Blink Dagger Hood of Defiance. Now he's looking for the BKB as well in the quick buy. Going to be absolutely tremendously difficult for this QUT lineup to deal with. He's going to be a very, very hard to kill Dragon Knight all around. And I'm just really, really excited to see exactly how UNSW are going to be able to just snowball off the back of what is going to be an invincible Dragon Knight in these team fights. Orange Sunset, far and away the highest net worth in this game right now. Looking to go for an absurdly expensive item coming up next. I'm not exactly sure off the top of my head what this is, but definitely is going to be a lot of damage and a lot of stats.
He's looking for, I know it, off the top of my head, I know it. It's AEST, and then he's also looking for I think
he's
a
got other items
here
as well.
I think that's a nullifier. Yeah, it's a nullifier. He's looking to shut down the item game.
Nullifier plus AEST. Okay, makes a lot of sense. Fair enough, fair enough. BKB does come through on Dragon Knight though. Finally has that available.
Elite.
Here we go though, Horn is coming out and Elite is just going to get caught lacking in the bottom side once again. We've talked about this combo a few times, and that is Shizuya with Dreamcoil into Haunt, and they seem to coordinate it so well. It's like Dreamcoil and Haunt just come through at the exact same time, leave you no time to react, and it's so much damage that you just kind of explode.
Well, yeah, it's just the coordination. Even Group of Pandas was right on the heels of Shizuya. The call was obviously made as soon as they saw March of Machines. And Shizuya, again, pushing the lane out, teleporting into the shrine. He's ready to fight with the rest of the team. Orange Sunset with
Tau looking at TP out here, but the Dragon Tail, he is going to get caught, and that's going to be enough damage coming through from UNSW to finish him off. Ancient Slayer, the Yules to stop the TP. Love to see it. Shizuya is an absolute menace right now in catching these members of QUT lacking. The blinks are there, the CC is there, Finger of Death just to rub salt in the wound, and QUT look like they're rotating as best they can. But UNSW looking to march towards this Roshan.
Yeah, honestly, this is the call. You've got no Necro, you've got no Shaman, your significant lack of control plus any chance of an execution. As big as Troy is, he's got no chance of contesting this. The other thing worth noting, Orange Sunset is 10-1-10 right now. The guy has a 10 KD.
20 KD. KDA, that is.
Well, yeah, look, if you include the assists, but
10-1-10, very, very impressive. He's been involved in 20 out of 26 kills on the side of UNSW. He is absolutely massive this game. And obviously, you know, very big Necrophos, but a lot of these Necrophos kills are not actually like Necrophos really doing a whole lot. It's just clicking that R button on someone that gets, you know, all of these single target nukes clicked on them, and then you get the kill credit.
Elite is the only person without a kill this game. That is brutal.
He does have quite a lot of last hits, and that's basically all that he's got going for him. Second highest last hits in the game. But here we go. Big engage in the mid lane. Death Wards are doing their thing, but unfortunately not enough. We talked about this Dragon Knight, absolutely invincible in the middle of this team fight right now with the BKB. Shizuya, though, maybe getting dropped a little bit low. Hero is actually getting taken down by Troy. Shizuya forced to blink away, but they are in hot pursuit. The rockets are coming. Hero going to get blinked on by Troy. The TP comes through. Is he going to be able to get out in time? Yes, he is. Buys himself another day. Same with Shizuya. He's going to be able to sneak out off into the side lanes, and they only managed to lose their Lion, which honestly, it looked like it could have gone a lot worse for a second there, but hang on. Maybe more picks getting through here. This Troy is just blinking all over the place. Death Shackles dropped onto Orange. Xeon Flux using that Soul Rip to try and buy as much time as he can. Here comes the Haunt. Troy pops the ulti to do the best. Does use that TP. Finds himself Tau in the process, as well as Elite. The blinks come through, but the damage has already been done. That's enough members taken down by QUT to turn things around, and UNSW are going to wipe up the remainder. Absolutely amazing plays from Orange to turn that one around while getting chased on the heels by multiple members of QUT.
They lose group of pandas plus the Aegis in the initial engagement in the tier 2 in the mid lane. They chase down Sunset, they frag him out, but they lose 5 more in the process. Another full team wipe out of NSW. The gold lead is sitting currently at 11k. And despite Sunset going down, he is still the highest net worth by 2.5k once again.
Yeah, absolutely ridiculous performance here from this Spectre. We just saw him getting chased down by a massive number of QUT members, and I thought it was all but done. The Shadow Shackles came through, but he was able to get out, using that dispersion to its fullest effect, pop the Haunt, and then just used that, that reality to just blink around the place, picks up the Shadow Shaman, and then, picks up another kill, and then from there, it turned into a 3v3 for the side of, UNSW, who are previously, outnumbered, outmanned, retreating. But, thanks to those picks from the Spectre and the damage that he was able to deal, they're able to turn that one around beautifully, and that is just absolutely what you want to see out of your position 1, 31 minutes into this game.
My lord, we talked about how terrifying Shizuya has been with his stream coils. He's got the eggs on top of it, which, that just makes things even harder. They're starting to get some of these key jungle items. He's level 21 as well. He is just storming through this match. Him and Orange on the Spectre are the only two above level 20 right now. And, Shizuya has just done massive work this match.
Yeah, you can only imagine that the Dream Coil pickup
All
here...
1 in 19.
You can only imagine that the Dream Coil pickup is in response to this Night Stalker BKB. It's one of his only completed items, and when you put that much of an emphasis onto magic immunity, and you're a puck that's this far ahead, you're just like, alright, I'll just buy the Aghanim Scepter, and then good luck, my guy, because you're going to have a very, very good reaction speed on that BKB to a Blink Dream Coil. You're going to have to pop the BKB before he even activates the Dream Coil, because if he gets it on you, and you pop that magic immunity, it doesn't even matter. You're still going to get stunned. So very, very scary here for Troy. He has to be a lot more careful with those blinks in team fights. And Troy with these blinks and the ultimate is kind of what's been carrying the QUT lineup a little bit. So that's going to be very perilous for them, I feel, in these upcoming fights.
I think this might start to be the beginning of the end. We've got the Eye of Skadi completed. Titan Sliver as well there for Orange Sunset. 3.2k health. The guy is just an absolute monster. He's sitting at 34 armor at the moment. And even with how hard Troy is hitting, I just don't think that's enough to deal with this late game Spectre.
Yeah, he's definitely a very, very beefy boy. He's pushing the bot side, using these Manta-style illusions while sitting back in the fog of war. Very intelligent to stop himself from getting blinked on by some of the engage members of this Spectre, but does pop the Haunt, looking to go in here. Troy getting caught out, and he's going to join the party. Spectral Dagger and Hero to melt him down there, and that's going to be a very dead Night Stalker. And now we have these members here of QUT very scared, getting that TP out as best they can. Does look like Ancient Slayer is pushing his luck a little bit here. He might run into this Spectre pushing the top side. We'll see how it goes.
He almost got caught again. He got TP'd in by Shizuya. The waning rip was there. We almost saw the illusory orb land on top of him as well. Just no damage taken and all damage given.
That was so greedy. Did you just see him blink onto no vision high ground?
Yeah, Elite is he's a bit frustrated, I think, at the moment.
Definitely very greedy plays. We see Dragon Knight picking up that plus 20 strength, level 20 talent though. So he is just going to be even more impossible to kill. Let's see how much health this bad boy has now. Where is he on the map? There he is, 3.3k
It's still
HP.
less than Spectre right now, and that is with edgy power trades as well.
He does have that, you know, Hood of Defiance BKB though, so he is just going to be so hard to kill, and he's going to be doing
He's
so
also
much
3
range
levels
DPS.
behind Sunset. Oh boy. Sunset is just efficiency. He's farming, he's finding kills. There is no downtime for this Spectre right now.
Yeah, using the Manta Star to farm waves while he farms the jungle, just absolute, you know, textbook position 1 play here coming out from Orange Sunset, and he's really, you know, doing what you pick Spectre for. You pick Spectre to kind of be a bit of a non-factor in the laning phase, and, you know, even so, you paired him with something that's extremely strong in the early game, like the Undying, and you're able to force out maybe some of those early kills from the enemy team, and, you know, as a result, the Spectre is able to get out of lane phase, get those points in the dispersion, get those items, and just become an absolute menace in team fights with that Haunt ability, and we're seeing it happen here. Didn't even opt for the Radiance build either, just wanted to go for that pure defense kind of early stat rush with the Blade Mail, and it's really paid off here for sure, but we do see these members of UNSW now grouping around the bottom side of the map.
On top of that, I mean, Hero's just picked up his AC. There's just so much on the line here for UNSW to just cripple QUT in any situation. I mean, you look, Blink Dagger into the Dragon's Tail, the Horn on top of it. Anyone, even getting caught by the illusions, is going to get absolutely shredded.
We do see Hero. He is getting pinged out here by Tinker. Paint.net spots him. The Dragon Slave getting used onto the high ground. Tau, Blink Hex, actually. We do see the Shackles into the Light Strike Array, but hang on. Here we have Shizuya coming in with the Dream Coil. Hero turns it around, pops the BKB, says, hello, Xeon Flux has arrived, Tombstone is there, and now the members of UNSW have arrived to clean up the party. Orange Sunset doing what he does best, double kill on the board, looking for the triple. Troy Oi running for his life with the Illusory Orb into the Yule Scepter. Shizuya doing what he does best and not allowing anybody to get out of the clutches of Orange Sunset. Triple kill for this Spectre, and he is just gargantuan at 35 minutes into the game.
This is what I said. You're looking past 25 minutes. This is where UNSW gets scary. I'm 90% sure that Paint.net died to the Haunt illusion of Orange Sunset because the focus there was Elite. Jumped in on him, killed him. Paint also died somehow to one of the illusions, and then it just all came apart. They aggressively jumped onto Hero. The Dream Coil was only used onto the support of Tau, and they still were able to clean up. UNSW, this is exactly what their comp was designed to do, and it has come together phenomenally.
I do want to just pay mention to Hero there. He got caught out really, really bad. But he got out of the CC, and he just clicked his BKB button, and he was absolutely invincible. They couldn't kill him, and, you know, while he was getting melted down, it took them so long to kill Hero that Orange Sunset was able to arrive, Shizuya was able to arrive, Xeon Flux was able to drop the Tombstone, getting that slowdown onto the side of QUT, and just being an absolute menace. But here comes Troy Oi, trying to do his best at stopping Orange Sunset from getting out for free. They want to make sure that they get a little bit of gold back here. The BKB Troy Oi is doing its best to melt down Xeon Flux and a group of pandas, but the Glimmer Cape is doing its best at buying some time. Hero popping his own BKB to try and keep the rest of the members of QUT at bay, but it looks like it's maybe not going to be enough. Orange Sunset, in the meantime, going into the back door and finishing things off, and it does look like GG is going to get called, and dire victory comes through for UNSW.
I mean, it just everything came together for UNSW. This was exactly what their comp was designed to do. It was designed for that late game, heavy, just momentum push. And they found their markers. Shizuya got massive Dream Coils off throughout the match. 28 of 38 kills he was involved in. And then you look at this Spectre. Orange Sunset, 16, 2, and 6 involved in 32 of 38 kills. Was only killed twice, completely untouched for the majority of that match. You can't be letting a Spectre get away with that sort of match.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, if you just want to talk about the scoreboard exactly that we've got going on here on full display, having a quick look at the score. What a game from this Spectre. Orange Sunset absolutely dominated in this one. If we just want to have a quick little look here, throw it over, and my goodness, look at this Spectre. 16-2 and 16, 38 kills, and this man was a part of 42 of them. How can you have such a dominating performance? So that is 32. I can count.
This is quintessential stuff. Like, I mean, this is exactly the kind of game that you want out of your Spectre. Just farm as long as possible, try and stay out of unnecessary fights. And the fights that we did see that Haunt triggered on, it was when there was a Dream Coil set up, it was when there was presence to be able to get that kill. Elite being shut down the way that 09 and 7, yes, he's still got, you know, a decent amount of last hits. He's sitting 242, which is second highest overall. But you look at his net worth. It was only 4k ahead of both supports on the side of NSW. He was well and truly shut down, couldn't find the momentum that you need for a Tinker to have effect going into the later stages of the game, to the point where they even had to use a Time of Knowledge on him.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. We did see, you know, time and time again, Troy Oi was just in the middle of things, really trying to get things done, but unfortunately, the only heroes that scale on this comp, really, when you have, you know, a Necrophos who obviously is going for this kind of, you know, position 5 build. Like, this is a very underfed Necrophos going for, maybe not position 5, but, you know, going for a very support-heavy focus build, going for, you know, the Guardian Greaves, the Aeon Disc, not going for, you know, the big, heavy damage items, not going for the Daeans, not going for the Argonim Scepters, you know, going very, very defensive with that pipe, with that Aeon Disc. He's not really going to be your big source of damage in these fights, and so your only late-game scaling damage option here is Tinker, but an 09 performance from Elite, unfortunately, that Tinker's not going to be able to provide that for you, and, you know, they just didn't have the damage to back up Troy Oi's engages, and as a result, you know, we saw UNSW, they definitely did have the damage. Orange Sunset coming through massively, even grabbing that Aghanims here towards the end of the game, just to make him even more of a menace around the map. Eye of Skadi on top of Shizuya just made it absolutely impossible for these members to run away from the clutches of UNSW. Once the QUT members did get caught out in team fights, Scepter used to cancel TPs more than one occasion from Shizuya, and just an absolute amazing performance. And what a, you know, game from this team, and I'm really excited to see what they're going to pull out in the future.
Yeah, I mean, it's even worth noting, like, the heroes killed by specific players. Orange Sunset had 8 of the 9 kills onto Elite. It was just that Horde Dream Coil combo. The setup was always there. It's just the coordination that NSW showed with this lineup, knowing full well that there was going to be early aggression. They were going to be looking for early fights on the side of QUT, and being able to still play around that. Yeah, this is exactly what they were looking for. They played this so very, very well. I
didn't even notice that until you pointed it out, but that's right. 0-9 performance from this Tinker, and all 9 deaths were to this Puck Spectre combo. Dream Coil plus Haunt, and I gotta say, this is a combo that they seem so kind of practiced on, where they just know, like, oh, if we both click R here, this guy's dead, because they're long cooldown ultimates. If you click Dream Coil and Haunt, they have to die, or you've just wasted some really important ults, and they seem to know exactly when to pull the trigger on those abilities very well. It just shows the comfort on Shizuya and Orange Sunset on these heroes, and I expect that other teams in the tournament that are specifically in this Group A likely going to be going against these teams. This has to be something that you have to look out for in the draft, and either have a plan for it or ban it out, because this was just ridiculous, making the position 2 of the side of QUT just basically irrelevant the whole game.
Yeah, he did not miss with those Dream Coils. It was never a case of, you know, we can't make something happen. Every Dream Coil that was hit, they were able to make a play. Sometimes, yes, they lost more than they gained, but they were still able to take out key players across the board from QUT. So, yeah, I honestly, going ahead, it's something that teams need to take focus on. They need to be able to shut down this mid lane, because even the start that he did have, Shizuya was able to bounce back, consistently get involved, and consistently upset the tide of battle.
Oh, absolutely. And I think just, you know, the global pressure that came through from this Puck with the BOTs, we saw him on numerous occasions. We saw UNSW win a team fight, and then Puck would just TP while the rest of the team pushed to a side lane that was getting pushed in, clear it out, make sure that, you know, there was no kind of side lane wave pressure getting crashed in by Shizuya. He was making sure that all that XP and all that gold got caught by somebody, and as a result, we did see, you know, the Puck with 18,000 net worth at the end of the game, which, you know, you wouldn't normally think Puck would have a net worth that close to a Spectre, one of the best farming carries in the game. But, you know, he was able to do it just thanks to some really intelligent macro. He didn't even go for any kind of farming items, really. He went for Blink Dagger, Yules, Args, just completely went for that full ganker playstyle on the puck. No Desolator, no right-click build. So you'd think his farming would be kind of on the slower side, but no, just thanks to some great rotations, he was really able to keep up, and I've got to say, just an all-star performance right around the board. But that's not to say that Xeon Flux, Hero, and a group of Pandas also didn't play phenomenally. The Fingers of Deaths were just on point. They were there where they were needed. The Hexes, the CCs came through from the Lion really well. Hero was unkillable, absolutely immortal on this Dragon Knight. And Xeon Flux, what more can I say? Soul Rip is just the name of this man's middle name. He was healing his allies and barely keeping them alive on just the most slither amounts of health numerous times, and really prevented that early game QUT comp from snowballing out of control. Now, is there anything else that you'd like to add on the end of this game here?
Nah, honestly, the players said enough in the matchup. Yeah, just everything that you said hits true. Xeon Flux came in clutch with some of those soul rips. It was just... There's only so many praises you can sing about UNSW because of the way they played that. It's only one matchup. There's still more that they need to play, but it's a great indicator for the team.
Absolutely, and I'm so excited to see where they're going to go. Now, before we close things out, let's have one last special thanks to our sponsors behind the AEL Semester 2 University League before we close out the stream. BluePanda, if you'd like to do the honors for us, we can go through those once again.
There's some great people behind the scenes making it all happen. Obviously, Chatime, Fresh Iced Tea, massive range if you want to get involved and see what they've got going on.
Definitely a big fan of some Chatime.
I wish it was closer. I have to travel to the nearest one to be able to enjoy it. But
feel that.
Indomie as well, they keep you fed, they keep you going. Obviously, university students, after all, making sure that you can keep things flowing. AOC, phenomenal monitor distributors. And then RAG, the new.
I actually have an AOC monitor myself.
Oh, yeah, I wish I did. Actually, I do too.
I've had mine for years, and I got to say, definitely the quality is there. It does speak for itself.
Yeah, mine's a bit older as well. I like a new one, but we'll see how that goes. But yeah, and RAG, great headsets, massive company as well to be back into this sort of thing. So look forward to seeing what more they can do with the group.
Definitely. Well, thank you, BluePanda, for joining us, and congratulations to UNSW of winning the first game of Week 2. But folks, we're going to be back. We've got lots of Dota games this week, so make sure you stay nice and tuned in right here to AEL to catch all the action. But until next time, I've been Jackson, Kadius Woodward, joined here on the desk by BluePanda, and we'll see you next time.
Be worth checking the Nitro.
Alrighty, folks. Mistake on our behalf. This is actually a best of 2. So we're going to play a second game here to see if we have QUT able to maybe clutch it back and bring this one to a potential tie. So we'll see how that one goes. But yeah, this is definitely not a best of 1 series in the group phase. It actually is a best of 2. So we've got a second game of Dota 2 on our hands that we are about to hop into. Now, BluePanda, what are your expectations for a Game 2 here? What do you want to see out of QUT to maybe make it back and go even with UNSW
Well, I mean,
here?
look, we saw what they were trying to do. They obviously had a game plan. It was early, mid-game focus. They wanted to shove those towers down with the Shadow Shaman, win those gunfights. Not gunfights. Like I said, Rainbow Six coming into Dota. Win those team fights. They didn't do that. They lost a lot of momentum. And Shizuya and Orange Sunset were just able to do so much work. So coming into Game 2, if they try something similar, it's about acceleration. They want to speed up that process. They want to hope, as much as I'd love seeing Tinkers in games, I don't want to see them bring it again just because of how short it did fall. But they want some acceleration. They want to be aggressively looking to push. They want to be aggressively taking towers. Do not give those late game carries that we saw out of UNSW that time to heat up. Obviously, it's a new game, new draft, everything, but they need to have some urgency when it comes to approaching this match.
Yeah, we need to hop into our second game. Apparently, it does look like the players have just started game 2 without the casters. So that's interesting to hear, but it looks like we're going to be having to wait for these players to hop into our lobby. So I think we're just going to throw it over to a quick break, and then we're actually going to be right back with our second game of the night, and hopefully see QUT making a little bit of a comeback, fixing up their drafting a little bit, hopefully having that Tinker not be quite a hindrance in the middle lane, and maybe having a little bit more impact around the map.
Well, look, we'll have to see how things go, obviously, with that, and hopefully we can get word to the players so that we can jump in and actually get casting for this matchup. It seems like they are partway through draft, so we are waiting on confirmation as to how that goes. So it could be a little bit longer before we jump in. But yeah, I'm looking for some slight changes. I don't think the Tinker was the way to go. I respected the way they were trying to set things up, and I do respect the Night Stalker pick, but it fell flat in those timings that it needed to really show up.
It does look like the players are only halfway through draft, so we haven't really missed much, but they're going to back out and allow us to hop in here. So we're going to be right back, folks, in just a second. Alrighty, folks, welcome back. We're hopping into our draft for our second game of the night between Group A teams, UNSW and QUT. That is UNSW Raw and QUT G-War. And we just saw a very convincing first victory come out from UNSW, where they picked a very late game heavy composition with the Spectre, and they're able to run over the side of the QUT lineup. So we'll see if they're able to change that though, but it looks like one of the first bans that came out last game was Winter Wyvern, but it's actually going to get picked up here in the first stages of the draft. What are your thoughts on that one?
Well, it's not even the most interesting bit for me. We see Undying and Puck both banned out here by QUT. Massive respect being paid to both Shizuya and Xeon Flux on that one. But yeah, the Winter Wyvern, such a key controlling hero when it comes to team fights. Not to mention the setup that she enables if you're going hunting for those picks. Tinker being banned out this time. Elite, unfortunately, is going to have to ban out his own hero. Nyx, Phoenix, and Ursa on the side of UNSW. They pick up the Lion and the Sand King as well. Lion was so great in the hands of a group of pandas who has been subbed out for QUT this time. But pairing it with the Sand King, you've got Earthspike into just... there's so much setup already. Once again, UNSW, they know what they're doing here.
Yeah, it's just an absolutely, really kind of... a lot of respect being shown from G-War for sure. We do see them going for that Tinker ban, which makes you think that maybe the Tinker pick wasn't something that Elite was comfortable on, and maybe it was kind of a...
he wanted to pick it again, and the team didn't want that to happen.
Maybe it was like a respect pick, taking it away from UNSW Raw potentially, and maybe not something that he picked for himself. And this time they're going, you know what, we're not going to play it, we're just going to ban it this time, which is probably the smart call from G-War in my opinion.
Now that I think about it, we saw the global pressure that Shizuya had just with the BOTs on a Puck. I would not be surprised if Shizuya was someone to pick up the Tinker as well, given the playstyle that he had. So I can understand why G-War had taken that away as well.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. We do see the next couple of bans here coming through. Juggernaut is going to be taken out of the equation. Makes a lot of sense. You've got Lion and Sand King locked in, two heroes that do rely on landing their single target crowd control magic damage abilities. And, you know, Juggernaut clicks that funny spin button and suddenly your heroes don't do anything. So very, very good respect ban there, acknowledging that that's a position one that they probably don't want to deal with. Lina getting locked in as well for the side of G-War, which, you know, it's something we did see. And the Lina, I honestly got to say, I was impressed with the performance. The Light Strike arrays were definitely landing a majority of the time. I think in one fight, he landed a 3-man Light Strike array. The rest of the team was not strong enough at that stage of the game to really make anything happen off that. But at the same time, you know, the hero was played to proficiency, and hopefully we can see that again. Morphling getting banned by UNSW once again for the second game in a row, so a lot of respect being put on this Morphling pick, it seems.
Not to mention that Ursa as well, but I mean, we start to see things lining up. I'm imagining this is both supports for both teams. Sand King obviously could be fixed elsewhere, so yeah, okay, this is going to be a lane Sand King with that Oracle pick. I don't see a realm in which you'd play it pos 1 through 3 for an Oracle, so I'm imagining either mid for the Sand King, so pos 2 or pos 3 here for UNSW, but the card's definitely showing, and I'm imagining sort of that hyper carry in the pos 1 with an Oracle on board.
5 seconds.
Yeah, Oracle, very good hero when played to proficiency. One of those heroes, though, that, you know, not a lot of players are quite able to play it to proficiency, except for the high levels of play, so therefore the hero's win rate usually on the lower side over, like, you know, most levels of play, except for pro play, where Oracle is a very prevalent pick. So going to be interesting to see exactly who's going to pick this one up and if they're able to make the hero work. Bristleback getting taken, though. What are your thoughts on that?
10 seconds remaining.
I don't know. Bristleback is one of those heroes that it is make or break. You need to have a very, very solid early to mid game. It doesn't have to be, you know, storm rolling through kills, but you just have to find your farm, you have to find your items, because otherwise you can find yourself in huge trouble going into later stages if you don't have those key items, if you're not set up and ready to go. You could, especially against the likes of a Spectre, which we've already seen out of UNSW, you can find yourselves in trouble, but that is something a little bit different. Something, again, that I haven't seen in a while. Outworld Destroyer. So I'm imagining, yeah, mid OD, offlane Sand King, which still leaves room for their pos 1 here for Raw.
I just realized his name got changed. He's not Outworld Devourer anymore.
Yeah, I think that was almost a couple of years ago now, I think.
What happened to that?
It might have been up to 3. I think they're trying to shift away from, you know, the old, you know, Warcraft 3 Dota.
It just shows you how, like, little I see OD picked, that I like, didn't know that until I just noticed it. Goodness me. Well, we do see that picked up, and that is going to be 3 intelligence heroes locked in here. So honestly, something like the silencer here for maybe a position 1 or maybe a support wouldn't be a terrible idea. We'll see if that one's locked in. Global Silence really messes with this team in a team fight. So silencer, I think, is actually a very scary pickup. Be interesting to see if they maybe go for that one here. It is going to be a Coddle locked in, and obviously fills a similar role in shutting down spellcasters with that mana leak.
Which means that I'm imagining, as much as I want to say, yeah, leader's probably then moving to either pos 1 or pos 2 positions, but
10 seconds
as weird as it sounds, I've seen Winter Wyvern fill those roles as well. So
5
G-War
seconds
coming in
remaining.
with something a little bit different here today, but I would imagine, yeah, you're probably looking pos 2 Lena, pos 3 Bristle with the supports of Winter Wyvern and Keeper of the Light. The final 2 bans coming through for both teams. I mean, you look at it taking away a carry for both sides, I think. Yeah, Slark taken away from Raw as G-War banned that one out. But there's now limited options available.
Yeah, Slark is a pretty great hero into things like the Bristleback, who, normally very reliant on just being super, super tanky and being able to sit there and just withstand a ton of
10
right clicks. But,
seconds
Slark has that factor of, if you let him right click you a ton of times, he is just
5
going to be a
seconds
god
remaining.
with a million stats. So you have to avoid that from happening for sure. It'll be interesting to see what the ban is going to be here from UNSW Raw, exactly what they're going to go with. It is going to be an Axe ban getting taken away.
Interesting. I was thinking that potentially that could come through for the G-War lineup, which, I mean, look, Bristleback can play any number of positions at the moment, but yeah, probably looking to send him something towards the off lane. But
10
with an Axe,
seconds
that could have
remaining.
very much come into play as well.
I definitely don't see Bristleback
5
outside of that
seconds
position
remaining.
3 too often. He just kind of fills the role like a little bit too well. I know position 1 Bristleback saw a little bit of surgence for a while, but it's definitely...
I mean, you've got the Keeper of Light as well, so I think a Coddle Bristleback lane could play safe, could play the long lane, but yeah, I think it just makes that much more sense. You're imagining that both teams now have to play their carries.
Yeah, they do have to probably lock these ones in. OD could also be played in the position 1 role, could also be played in the position 2 role, can even be flexed as a bit of a support, maxing that Prism and just kind of spamming it as poke in lane. I've seen it done. So very flexible drafts on that side, very flexible drafts on the side of G-War, and I think that's what makes a good Dota 2 draft, is when it's, a little bit ambiguous right up until those final picks. We are seeing Drow Ranger get banned away as the final ban for G-War here.
Yeah, honestly, that makes a lot of sense. We've already got 3 ranged of 4 heroes here for Raw, so a Drow into that would be pretty scary, although I don't know whether or not they'd have the front line that
10
you're looking
seconds
for
remaining.
that. I mean, you probably want something like the Spectre once again here for Raw, something
5
that
seconds
can
remaining.
face tank a bit of that damage. 2 seconds left on the ban phase before we head to that reserve time.
I mean,
But
the
they
silence
still-
as well, super
Yeah.
strong at dealing with Bristleback, right? Bristleback wanting to just spam those abilities like it's his job, and, Drow Ranger is able to not only A, get him off her very
Okay.
easily, but B, silence her as well. Does look like Night Stalker ban going to be coming through here, and again, makes a lot of sense. Getting silenced here, point and click silenced for that long, not very fun when you're this UNSW Raw team, and I think they were kind of noticing that the Night Stalker was something that was probably the
10
most difficult
seconds
thing for them to
remaining.
deal with last game. Definitely was some very scary engages being
5
made by this
seconds
Night Stalker. Was clearly a comfort pick and maybe just wanting to take that one away here.
Yeah, Troy was pretty deadly, especially once that Blink Dagger came online. They did find themselves struggling. Unfortunately, by that stage, I think Raw were in a comfortable spot to just snowball out of control from that point. But yeah, definitely some respect being played there. Which, I mean, that was the off lane. Actually, no, they moved him to the safe lane. So, I mean, G-War, they're nothing if not adaptable on the fly. They're still taking their time. So obviously there's a lot of thought going into this. They want to try and bring this back at a 1-1, but I'm just trying to figure out what sort of fits into this roster that could give them what they need. And, well, here we go. It's a slider. Okay, so synergies are there. I kind of rate it.
So this does mean that this is likely going to be a pos 1 Bristleback in the safe lane, probably backed up by the Lena or the Winter Wyvern, I would imagine. I don't think Coddle Bristleback makes a ton of
10
sense.
seconds remaining.
I think Slaughter, Keeper of the Light, probably makes a little bit more
5
sense.
seconds
Just because,
remaining.
you're able to get the mana leak. Slaughter is able to pop, the stun. While he's there stunned, you pop the Q, and then big nukes all around. So
Unless it's like a pos 1 Wyvern, pos 2 Lena, pos 3 Bristleback. and then a Coddle Slutter support.
I would imagine Wyvern is going to be... Wyvern's mostly played in Pro Play, I believe, right now, as opposed to, so I would expect him to be going middle.
I mean, yeah, Windsor Wyvern and Lena can both play sort of 1-2 if they need to, but... look, G-War, it's sort of it's a slightly older style of playing Dota from the looks of it, but it's still one that can work if they find the momentum, the stepping stones that they need to.
Yeah.
This could get scary. And an anti-mage. Oh, this is gonna be. This is a brutal lineup out of Raw once again.
Yeah, I think Slardar really is the only threat here for Orange Sunset on this anti-mage. We do see lots of magic damage coming through. But, Bristleback, Slardar, if they're not able to get onto this anti-mage, which is easier said than done with Blink being an ability, plus, he's got Oracle with that Tempered Fate, so much peel for this carry. And honestly, we could be seeing Deja Vu here. BluePanda. We could see Orange Sunset once again scaling up into the moon and just kind of being that 30-minute threat for the side of G-War that they don't have anything to deal with because they didn't pick a carry of their own. We'll see definitely how it goes, but I mean, at least this time they do have the Winter Wyvern, so if they do pick that Winter Wyvern in those late game engages where anti-mage is huge, you can use the anti-mage to just delete someone on his team by making him beat them incredibly hard. We're about to hop into game, and honestly, what are your thoughts on how these lanes are going to turn out early on?
Well, my biggest concern already for QUT is we saw last game just how much priority ANSW put on those picks. You'd see Shazia roaming, maybe a group of pandas was there, but they don't instantly have that haunt to pair with the Dream Coil. We see an Oracle, a Sand King, and a Lion. That already just screams to me they are going to be looking for their ones. You're looking at a Burrow Strike, into an Earth Spike, into that Fortune's End as well. Anyone caught on their own from this QUT lineup is more or less going to be dead. So if I'm QUT, I'm looking to get some early levels, maybe even try and get control of a lane, push down an early tower, and then from there, it's just 5-man Dota. You don't want to be caught out on your own.
Yeah, very scary kind of pick out potential, and I hope that, the side of QUT have learned their lesson not to be split pushing those lanes, because if there's anything that I feel UNSW are just very good at, it is just surprise ganking lanes like it's their job, and just blowing massive amounts of CC onto these kind of squishier heroes, and unfortunately, in that last game, we did see Elite and Tau, often the ones on the receiving end of that, and hopefully we don't see a repeat performance of just getting caught out left, right, and center here. But, only time will be able to tell. Now, we have just gotten over to a little bit of a pause, folks. Not exactly sure what is going to be happening here. We haven't received word on what's going on, but it does look like Anti-Mage is DC'd. Hopefully he's going to be coming back in just a second. Having a quick look at the item builds here might reveal exactly where things are going. OD with a ward, a crown,
look at everything that's queued up for OD though. Like straight into Meteor Hammer, BOT, Blink Dagger, and then BKB. So Shizuya knows exactly what the game plan is.
Yeah, that is honestly Shizuya filling a very similar role to what he did with Puck. This is not going to be a carry OD looking to sit back, pump out those arcane orbs. Just going to be instead doing what he does best, and that is going to be blinking in, popping the Astral Imprisonment into the Meteor Hammer channel while they're in the Astral Imprisonment, and then bam, they come out, they get stunned, and that is going to be a kill 9 times out of 10. So Shizuya, very similar playstyle to the Puck here, and, just making a statement, really, where you can ban my Puck, but you won't be able to ban what I do on Puck, in a way. So I'm really excited to see how this is going to go, but that does mean that if he's going for this kind of an OD build, if he is actually going to be going into the mid lane, I imagine he will be, considering he was the position 2 player last game, and I'm not sure exactly how flexible this lineup is, but Orange Sunset has returned, and that means we're hopping right into this game 2.
Well, another early smoke here coming out of NSW. Looking to get those, I would imagine, probably those early wards down once again. I mean, you see Kavoth has one in. We saw just on QUT side of the river being prioritized once again, but we see blue line being drawn. Maybe QUT looking to fight. There's it. It's this dance. It's such a wonderful dance at the start of the game. There we go. Ward down on the other side of the river. But QUT, again, hesitation on their ward placement.
Smoke has expired. It looks like both teams are on a collision course here. Going to be interesting to see how this level 1 goes. They have to be very, very
Meanwhile,
careful.
Sunset's dancing up on the top
They might
lane.
actually walk past each other here. Oh my goodness.
30 seconds to battle.
Not a chance.
That is so unfortunate. Paint.net popping the Arctic Burn here to fly over some of this terrain.
And here we go. Yeah, they've been spotted. And, oh, Xeon Flux. Big cash money. Worth it. 100% worth it. We've still
Grabs
got
that
12
ward. Light Strike Array, though, is going to find itself onto Kavoth. Big damage from the Coddle up on the high ground, and Kavoth is looking to be going down here for first blood. Lena finds it. Elite, showing that the last game was indeed just a fluke, and this game he's looking to make things happen.
Interesting, though. Oh, Ancient skilling the Viscous Nasal Goo to try and set that up with the minus armor. I can't say just how well it could result going into this laning phase, but yeah, I think that could be a bit rough not having the Quill Spray to counter Hero, who is going to be looking to, whether he goes Caustic Finale or Sandstorm. Either way, this lane could present itself to be quite rough.
Paintnet and Kavoth exchanging a few right clicks here. Bit of supportal combat level 1. You love to see it. I gotta say, I'm a big fan of Lion here. Actually does pop the spikes, looking to go aggressive on Paint.net. Forcing the early regen out best he can for the Arctic Bird to turn things around. This is looking to get very aggressive level 1. Maybe double collapsing onto Hero here. Does not have the Quill Spray available, unfortunately. Only level 1, and did go for that ooze for the level 1 gank, potentially. I'm a big fan of this Lion's name, Kavoth. It's a character from the King Killer Chronicles series, which is a really good book series.
Look, I can't say I'm familiar with it, but I'll take your word for it.
He's got good taste, that's all I'll say. Got good taste. You can always trust a player with some good taste.
Well,
on the other side of the spectrum, though, here, Tau.
God, this is the power of the Coddle. Illuminate is just such a powerhouse in lane. Unfortunately, okay, Tau's going to take that take that kill on the creep for himself, but this could be a far rougher lane for Orange Sunset than last. We saw Untouched, but this time, look, he's almost
There's the stun.
through his reach.
They're looking to go aggressive onto Orange Sunset. The root comes through from Xeon Flux, though, allowing enough time for Orange Sunset to blink out to safety.
Down bot, it's Ancient to pick it up. The Arctic Burn paired with the Nasal Goo was enough to slow Kavoth down. And they take him out just before he hits level 2. That's brutal. And not only that, but Hero's still stuck at level 1.
Very scary to see when you are a hero here. Just looking to really farm up with that Caustic Finale. Do your best at shoving out those waves. But when you're against two kind of early game powerhouses like this Bristleback, like this Winter Wyvern, it becomes very scary.
Well, this is a vastly different landscape to game 1. Both teams laid their plans out very clear in the draft. But this time, it's an absolute slugfest. And already, 2 big kills picked up to kick things off. You've got a lead in mid lane. You've got that shared kill down in the bot lane. I mean, I talked about how Bristle needs to hit those milestones, needs to get those items, needs to get last hits to carry on and keep up with their opponents in the later stages of the game. 1 shared kill. He's already looking to get that Soul Ring up and on the courier. In fact, I think, yeah, it's on its way now. Which, I mean, this could be a very rough lane for Hero, who actually kind of breezed through last match.
Yeah, Hero definitely had a pretty easy time on that Dragon Knight, just able to stay nice and tanky. It's going to be a little bit different this time. He's got a little bit more opposition in play. The pause gets undone. Hopefully the last one for this game. Now looking up in the top side here. Oh, but looking in the mid, Elite actually with a solo kill onto Shizuya. What a statement.
Last second Dragon Slave just had enough in the tank for it. Plus, not only that, the Fiery Soul in position, and the bottle as well. Picks up the water, and Elite is going to be good and ready to go. And in fact, has a 2-level lead on Shizuya right now. 1 after that creep goes down, but I mean, this is a vastly different horizon that QUT find themselves staring at.
Yeah, it's definitely a pretty scary situation to be on the receiving end of a Slardar Coddle lane, just for the simple factor of Chakra Magic when combined with Slardar. With this Slitherine Crush. You know, you pop the Chakra Magic, you pop the Slitherine Crush. all of a sudden you have a 5-second cooldown, 1-second stun. So you're able to stun for a second, 4 seconds later, you can stun again, which just makes it so hard for the safe lane of UNSW here to really do their thing and farm up nice and safely and go for any kind of extended trades, because obviously Anti-Mage wants to get those extended trades where he's really applying that mana burn to its fullest.
Both supports going at it, but all that happens is both of them cancel out their mana potions. Another Illuminate, Orange Sunset. I mean, I'd hate to think how much money he's already spent on regen so far. He is keeping up in the last hits, he's top of the table, but he's still on struggle street in terms of trying to at least give himself some ground to work with.
Yeah, super good player by the looks of things, and just very consistently being able to farm. We saw he, got that early kill. Oh my goodness, though. There we go. The Slithering Clutch plus Illuminate. So much damage onto Orange Sunset, and here comes the stun onto Xeon Flux. He's dropping very, very low indeed. Illuminate coming through. It's likely not going to be enough to finish him off, but it is going to be enough to get him very low. Tao maybe looking for a cheeky last-minute Illuminate. Oh, he's going to go wide by the looks of things. Very unfortunate.
Well, that was all going down bot. Kavoth had to teleport out to avoid dying. He was very near trouble. Oh, look, speaking of trouble, Troy. They're playing a dangerous game up top. Both of them sort of lurking around low health bars. Another bottled water rune. In fact, Elite's going to get both water runes. This mid lane is just going phenomenally for QUT.
Yeah, 25 last hits to 14 and only 4 minutes into the game. And Elite is just being an absolute bully right here. You have to wonder, as Shizzy, exactly how you're going to deal with this. There's the Ring of Health purchased nice and early here as he builds into that Meteor Hammer. But here we go, Astral Imprisonment, trying to stop some of this aggression.
Denied.
The bot has almost died again bot lane. Yep.
Oh, the Gouda Blade, Dragon Slave, the auto attacks will do it. The right clicks come through, and Elite is on a killing spree, making a name for himself, saying that last game was just a fluke. This is not how I normally play. He's really making a statement in this game too.
3 kills already for Elite in the mid lane. Not a kill to his name on the Tinker, but this time around, yep, totally different story. But down bot, yeah, Kavoth can't step out, otherwise he's in trouble. He's going to turn around with the Earth Spike and the Caustic Finale Sandstorm combo. Hero gets himself 2. The freest kills of his Dota career.
Yeah, really, really, really well played there on that bot side. It was looking a little bit scary, but a great, well-timed use of the Magic Wand here from Hero. Picked up nice and early. And of course, it's going to get lots of stacks when you're playing against a bottom lane like this. You have Bristleback who just loves to just spam abilities like it's his job. So Magic Wand, one of the best items that you can buy against this hero. And we just saw its effectiveness there, keeping Hero alive just long enough for that Caustic Finale to pop and kill both members. Level 5 though on Ancient Slayer though, do have to watch out as Kavoth, level 3, a couple levels down. It's going to be very, very scary indeed.
They've also got the Sentry Ward down in the middle of the lane. So Hero's Sandstorm isn't going to count for much. Does he know? Yeah, he has to. He's in a lot of trouble. Quill Spray, Arctic,
low indeed. One more auto should do the trick, and it is. He's going to go down. Now we've got Kavoth looking at TP out of here. Do they have the CC available? Likely not. He is going to get out to safety nice and well. And unfortunately lose his comrade. Really well played Sentry Ward there from Paint.net, doing his mostest at making sure that this Sand King is not able to use Sandstorm for free.
It's just, yeah, Kavoth cannot step out at the moment. If he steps out, Hero has to commit the Burrow Strike to keep him alive, just because of how much slow there is between the Arctic Burn, between the Nasal Goo, and the Splinter Burst as well. This is a very lost lane here for the side of NSW. They need to play the smart. They need to start stacking up camps, and I think, yeah, that's what Kavoth is looking to do. Stack up the camps, give Hero the opportunity to get those creeps, the jungle, cleared out with the Sandstorm, and get back into the game that way, because at the moment,
Kavoth is looking very scary. Here we go, Arctic Burn is popped. Hex to buy himself a little bit of time, but it doesn't look like it's going to be very much. Misses the spikes, they're going to go wide, and that is disastrous. Quill Spray is going to do the finishing touch there.
Yeah, unfortunately, as soon as Kavoth steps out of tower range, he's dead. There's just nothing to deal with, the slow, the damage, and we've seen it, the only times he survived is when Burrow Strike has been committed. It's unfortunate And it's such a solid pairing down in the bot lane. You wonder, you don't often see the position 1 bristleback, but against a Sand King who doesn't have that high, like huge amounts of damage that you're looking for in an offlane to be able to contest something like a bristle.
Does look like Meteor Hammer finished for the side of OD though. And now Lion rotating towards this mid lane. They know that this OD has his items online. And now it is only a matter of time before they start moving this guy around, getting some serious ganks off, and there we go, rotating towards the bottom side already. Not wasting any time at making the most out of this item timing.
Exactly what you need to do. I mean, just the way to set this up is to look elsewhere. Meteor Hammer onto the small camp is just going to get some gold flowing, but they need to be playing up other lanes. This bot lane for NSW has not gone it all the way they wanted it. Yes, Hero has picked up 2 kills, but I think it's only because QUT hung around with such low health, and Hero, he's going to find himself in a huge trouble again. Splinter Blast, Arctic Burn, Nasal Goo.
He's overextended a little bit too far here, and the burn and the quills, they're just going to be a little bit too much. He is just doing his best at clearing this one out, trying to turn it around actually with the Earthquake, but is not going to get it off in time, unfortunately, and is going to go down there to the side of QUT, making a comeback.
More stacks coming. QUT, this is all QUT can do. He's got to stack up camps in the jungle. The question, though, becomes, do they give it over to Hero to try and get him back into this game, or do they wait for Orange Sunset to get his Battle Fury online and then give it to him and let him snowball out of control so he can carry this game? Because either way, bot lane is almost a lost cause. Hero, if he steps out, he's dead.
Oh my goodness, Laguna Blade, that is so much damage. Xeon Flux popping the wand to buy himself a little bit of time, but here comes Troy Oi. It might be for nothing though, as Elite does land the 2-man solar array though. Massive ulti coming through from OD. Shizuya doing what he does best. Here's QUT, the Hex, the CC, the Yules actually getting used from Elite. I believe that was the first item rushed from the Lina. It was indeed, but that was a massive turnaround there from the side of UNSW.
And some big gold in the pocket of Shizuya. It's going to help hugely in getting him closer to his boots of travel. A bit of an overcommitment, I wonder, but I mean, level's not the worst. Again, this is just exactly what is going on. Hero is having a horrendous game. Ancient, with the help of Paint.net, can just wander through as much as they possibly want. They've got regen, they've got survivability, they've even got the Winter's Curse if they should want to look for a turnaround. But this is ambitious for Xeon Flux.
He's actually going to pop the healing here. Cold Embrace to heal up a little bit. The root is there. They do have the ulti. I think they're waiting for it, but they wait a little bit too long. Xeon Flux actually going to find the kill onto Winter Wyvern. Ancient Slayer going to get the revenge kill though, and QUT not wanting to take that 1v1. I think he's learned his lesson about dealing with this bristleback, but now that they do indeed have Shizuya coming down as well as Hero, they might be looking for a bit of a 3v1 collapse onto Ancient Slayer.
I don't know if Ancient's been enough more than he can chew. We see the Veil of Discord.
The
Boris
CC
is going to be there. It misses.
One spike's going to be there, but you can't miss Banish. Here comes the Meteor Hammer combo that we were talking about. Light Strike Array, though, into Laguna Blade. 2 members are dropping low here. Illuminate doing what it can, and Shizuya, one more auto will do the trick. There it is. Elite finding one. Hero doing his best to stay out of the way. QUT with a Finger of Death, but unfortunately miscalculating the damage, and Elite is going to stay alive. And now Hero stuck between a rock and a hard place. No TP available, and he's going to go down as well. Double kill for Elite.
Pocket Sentry available for Pain. They just... I mean, Ancient in Paint.net in this bot lane have completely shifted the momentum. It's 14-6 right now, despite the best efforts of Shizuya, who arguably is still having a pretty solid game. Not nearly as good as Elite is right now, who's 81-6 and is just dominating in the kills department, 6-1. Complete opposite of last game, but... Despite the best... Yeah, look, you can see the frustration on the map and just how comfortable that QUT feel. They're very much in control of this match. If they can keep the momentum going, this is theirs to win. But it's also a case of they cannot afford to leave Orange untouched again. Because look at him, he's farming. He's more or less halfway to his Battle Fury. And look at the stacks. Look at the gold that is waiting for him.
Yeah, it's going to be a very scary anti-mage once he gets his items online. Definitely to say the least. And this stack is just, look at this, my goodness. Massive stack here. And they're just all around the place. They're definitely looking to funnel as much as they can into this anti-mage. Troy Oi doing his best to deny it up. Taking what he can.
has fallen.
But 4k gold lead right now on the side of QUT. They are just absolutely massive. Xeon Flux doing his best to run away from Ancient Slayer, but does look like they've caught out KUT once again. The substitute player really not making waves compared to the previous composition of 5.
Oh no, and they've found the stacks. They found the Ancient stack.
They have found the Ancient stack, yes.
That's brutal. That is gold that was desperately needed. Luckily, once again, Orange Sunset, you got to commend him. He's off farming while this is all going horribly wrong. He is 1 item away from getting that Battle Fury completed. He has what looks like a triple stack in his topside jungle. So they still have avenues to get him farmed up and fed. And he's doing very, very well. Once again, just commitment to efficiency.
Yeah, just blinking around the place, farming up, doing what Anti-Mage does best at this stage in the game, opting for the 9 strength over the 15 attack speed. Pretty smart. You do have very heavy burst damage on this side. A little bit of extra HP is going to go a long way. But what's really important here is that this Lina gets an Aghanim Scepter, because this Anti-Mage, once he gets this E skilled up, it's going to be very hard for her to kill her.
Taking the stacks. Oh. Like, I understand. I understand. Gold needs to be shared to keep the rest of the heroes on this NSW team in things, but your win condition was very clearly Orange Sunset, so I gotta wonder if that was the right play.
He's very desperate for these BOTs. It does look like he has enough gold right now after he finishes this camp to grab them, which is maybe why. I think they knew that they just needed that stack to finish off the BOTs, and it does look like that's going to be the case, but now QUT pushing up towards this top tier 2, taking away the farming areas of Anti-Mage, creating space, as one would say. Tau coming in, getting those D wards. And here we go, Arc to burn. They're looking for Xeon
encroaching.
Flux.
They're looking for it.
The Ooze is there. He's trying to TP out, but Winter's Curse is going to lock him up in place. The Banish is there to try and buy some time. There we go. Using that Oracle ulti, making sure that he can stay alive, and now we see the retaliation come through from UNSW. Hero going down. No, he's actually staying alive. Elite 1 HP in this Yules, but Orange Sunset gonna be able to take him out nicely. And now Troy Oi sure to follow, and that was just a wonderful response, wonderful turnaround from what was a massively behind at UNSW.
Another good kill streak handed over here, but this time to Orange Sunset. He's got his Battle Fury. He's working towards his Manta. That's just unfortunate. Elite, yes, he's having a far better game than he did last time. But giving up a kill streak, especially to someone like the Anti-Mage on NSW, that's absolutely unfortunate. Looking to do what they can. The tower is not going to be heavily contested, but that was a much-needed turnaround on the side of NSW.
Yeah, really, really good to see University of New South Wales making do with what they have, and that is a late game carry threat such as Anti-Mage. And obviously, you know, when the big threat on the side of QUT is this Lina, you know, having an ability here that gives you a nice 45% magic reduction is going to be doing absolute dividends. Not only that, but Counterspell, the ability to potentially make Lina Laguna Blade herself is always on the board, and if it happens, I will laugh.
Well, it's one of the funniest things in the game at the moment. If a Lion Finger of Death someone with a Lotus Orb or with the counter spell up and kills himself as well as the person he's using it on, he gets 2 stacks, which is it's just one of the most entertaining things about Dota in my mind. So unfortunately, you don't get that for Laguna Blade, but it's not the prospect you want to see as Elena. You're having a great game. You're farming phenomenally. You're sitting highest overall net worth. You go to Laguna Blade.
Has to watch out here. The spikes are there. The roots are sure to follow. And Anti-Mage popping the ulti there. Just cue that one up. And unfortunately, we do see Paint.net just getting caught out a little bit overextended in the mid lane.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, look, I was just going to say, like, Finger of, Laguna Blading someone only for it to bounce back at you is a rough situation. But Paint.net, I think QUT are getting a bit ahead of themselves, a bit overconfident given how their bot lane went, and we're seeing them push up unnecessarily, giving more gold over to Orange Sunset, who is very close to his Yasha already, and just continuously farming up with his Battle Fury. So, at the moment, QUT, they need to make some move. They need to make some big play, get a tier 2 tower, so they can actually contest the rest of this game, because otherwise Orange Sunset is pretty close to running away with this.
Here we go. Nice ancient stack for Orange Sunset here. This is what he needed, and this is definitely going to be his Yasha completed. And now looking for the Manta style next.
Flux is dead.
Yeah, Unfortunate. Is going to get absolutely deleted there. Kavoth looking to follow. Light Strike Array lands its mark, and he's just going to go down.
Unfortunate, the false promise was committed there. It was kind of obvious that he was probably going to die, but I mean, it's not going to be available. I think, though, given NSW's approach, they're not looking to fight within the next 5 to 7 minutes. They just want to keep Orange Sunset farming up. He's halfway, in fact, to his ultimate orb right now. He's got his Yasha. He's getting good timings on his item. He's going to be looking probably close to a 23, 24-minute Manta style if he can keep this up. And at that stage, they can start to contest these fights.
Yeah, it's one of those things too where Lina, Slada, Bristleback, these are all heroes who very commonly, just from using their spells with big mana costs, are going to be quite low on mana, and that just really enables Anti-Mage to just land some ridiculous ultimates. If they're all clumped up and Anti-Mage ults someone that's got no mana, that damage that ult does is just going to AoE and one-shot a team. Definitely can happen on a hero like this, and he just has kind of that weird X factor where you let this hero get to 35 minutes and the game is basically over. So, big lead right now for QUT, but the clock is racing.
I think it's worth mentioning Kavoth, who had a horrendous early game. I mean, he's 2-7-5, has still somehow managed to get enough gold going that he's got the Blink Dagger online, so he can be that setup factor for the team. I think QUT know that there's someone here. As you can see that they're all looping around tower. Ancient, he's on the hunt. Kavoth, he needs to blink.
He's been spotted. He's blinked out though. The ooze though, it does land its mark. Paint.net. Winter's Curse is available, but it's not going to be needed. Troy with the blink stun. Xeon Flux TP's in, but it's a little bit too late. But hang on, here comes Dragon.
Doesn't matter though. Look, it's unfortunate. Kavoth probably hung around too long. Tier 2 will go down, but at least they're going to be able to burn through this Fortify and get the Tier 2. Oh, no. Maybe not. Okay, cancelled TP. They are still going to be able to potentially clear out this Tier 1 in the mid lane. Unfortunately for them, it doesn't matter. QUT are pushing the high ground. Xeon Flux down as well. They've got the creep wave, and they can look to push for high ground.
Yeah, Xeon Flux is going to go down there. Quite unfortunate. And this is looking like it's going to maybe be a handshake on a Tier 3 for a Tier 1, unless we see some great rotations come through here for UNSW. But this comp right now is so strong. Elite just sitting in the back line right now. Laguna Blade available, but this is a big collapse. Finger of Death onto Slada. Maybe a misclick. I think that was meant for Elite, and that could be a disastrous misclick at that. Laguna Blade plus all the CC lands itself onto Hero. He's going to go down. Paint.net using that Winter's Embrace. Cold Embrace, should I say, to keep himself alive. And Shizuya is just not able to move, imprisoning himself here. Here comes the epicenter, though. Troy dropping dangerously low. Tries to heal himself up, but bam! OD ultimate is going to be the finishing touch there, but here comes Slayer. He's in the back line. He is causing an absolute ruckus. Able to finish off the OD there, but is going to get traded down to the Anti-Mage. Coming to the fight a little bit late, but just in time to pick himself up a kill, and he does have that Manta style nice and completed now.
Almost got the kill onto Paint.net, but yeah, that Cold Embrace once again stopped them from getting it, plus Elite being in the proximity. Honestly, I think that's probably the best it could have been for NSW. They weather the storm, they keep their Tier 3 in the top lane alive. Kavoth just consistently being caught out. The guy's 2-9 right now.
Oh, here we go. Light Strike Array. Yule's combo is going to land. Manta dodge! Brilliantly played by Orange Sunset there. Nice mechanics. Is able to dodge that stun very nicely and grab himself a nice little camp for his worries. He's just going to keep farming up. Does look like he's going to be going for a Skadi next, which I'm a big fan of. I always liked Skadi on anti-mages, even though I wouldn't say it's a commonly built item on the hero.
Oh, Kavoth. Well, unfortunately, this time it's Xeon Flux who's going to be the one to go down. Yeah, you cannot be stepping out at all if you're a member of NSW, unless you're Orange Sunset. Even Shizuya knows that he cannot step past this Tier 3 because it is such a priority for QUT. Orange Sunset and Hero are the last ones outside the base.
They're trying their hand at this Tier 3 push. Once again, Shizuya and Kavoth, the only two that are here to try and stop the onslaught. Troy blinks forward. There we go. Slithering Crush is going to land onto Kavoth. Laguna Blade is going to be so much damage. That's going to be an easy pickup for them, and they're looking to go for the racks as well here. Is Hero going to be able to do anything here? He has the Blink Dagger available. Epicenter coming up in 3 seconds. This could be big.
Orange Sunset has decided that he's going to just try and push the Tier 2 in mid. knowing that it's a bit of an overcommitment to try and push for the Rex as well, trying to sway them, gets the haste. He's going to farm up QUT's jungle camps. But at the moment, yeah, well and truly in control. QUT are dominating this. I think, yeah, maybe if Orange Sunset can weather the storm just a little bit, keep his team alive, keep farming up, he could be the deciding factor in this matchup. But this is exactly what I said at the very start of the game. QUT need to show some real agency, some urgency. They're doing that. They're looking for the Rosh here. 23 minutes. They're going to be able to pick that one up. Probably put it on Ancient, I would imagine, who does have
my
the
goodness.
and the
Look
shard
at
as well.
this Rosh damage. When you have the ooze, when you have the negative armor coming through from Slaughter and Bristle, that Rosh just melted like it was a melee creep. What was that?
Well, I mean, the stacks now up to 8 with the Nasal Goo. It's just the negative armor is only going to enable Ancient even more. They're going to be able to push this tier 2. Yeah, honestly, I'm not sure at all whether or not NSW can keep themselves in this matchup just because of how strong Ancient is right now.
Yeah, Elite just using Light Strike Array there to get that attack speed and really make things happen. But here we go, the TPs are coming through. Hex into Finger of Death lands itself onto Elite. The root is there, but they've turned around. BKB, big sleeps coming through from Coddle. They find one, they find two. Looks like Hero's going to be next. Elite's dropping dangerously low though. Shizuya is in the back line. Does get the banish, but the Aegis has been procced. We do see Elite coming back full health. Ancient Slayer still just spamming quills. It's not looking like it's going to slow down anytime soon. And Orange Sunset, despite his items, not able to find a way into this fight to make anything happen. Here we go, he's blinking forward, but he's just going to get Slithering crushed, looking to get taken down. The Mantisyle comes through. There's the Mana Void, dodging out of the Light Strike Array, and he's just going to blink away, trying to go back to Fountain and heal up, but Elite dominating with a double kill, finding himself the 4th member of UNSW, and now we do see, unfortunately, Orange Sunset left by himself to defend his push.
I mean, they've got the minus armor to set up. They've got so much control. I mean, just having the Will of the Wisp to chuck in the middle of a team fight on top of Light Strike away. This year, QUT approached this game exactly how they needed to pick up the win and tie the series at the end of the night. They're going to push high ground continuously, get another set of racks here, because there's only 2 people that can contest, and one of them is Xeon Flux, who has just repeatedly been destroyed by the aggression. Orange Sunset, despite his farm, despite his ability to quickly accumulate wealth, it's too late at this stage. He needs the game to go another, 8 to 10 minutes before he can actually do anything. But with 2 lanes of racks down, this is going to be a massive comeback if they're able to pull it off.
Going to be very interesting to see exactly who is going to be taking this one out. I gotta say, I'm still a little bit of my stock invested into this anti-mage. Just once he gets this next item, I feel like it's just going to be so hard for them to kill him. Eye of Skadi makes this guy very tanky indeed, but we do hear the Laguna Blade going off in the mid lane and a dead hero to follow. And, you know, it is just looking like it's going to be harder and harder for this Orange Sunset to get to this Eye of Skadi in time.
Honestly, I almost think BKB would have been the next best choice. Just there's so much control. There's so much, yeah, they're just going to go straight down tier 2 bot lane. They even pull Elite in, who is getting even more on the board. He's got his Daedalus. He's got a BKB. He's got that Yule Scepter as well. There is just so much going here. The 16k gold lead on top of that does not help NSW at all. They're pushing high ground. NSW, they honestly, I don't think they have a shot. Even with Orange Sunset cutting the creep wave, that's not enough to slow these guys down.
This does look like it is going to be very hard for them to deal with. If they don't defend this, Mega Creeps are going to come into play.
Wow. Orange Sunset
blinking forward, Orange Sunset, he's in the back line, doing what he can. Here comes Hero, Epicenter, looking to get channeled, but it gets cut down before he can. Orange Sunset, he's got a massive Mana Void, blowing up 2 members. Troy Oi forced to retreat. Elite does find the kill onto the carry of the side of UNSW, popping the Yules to try and get away from Shizuya. He's low though. Troy Oi and him cannot re-engage back into the fight, and Shizuya, he finds one. The buyback from the anti-mage. He's going to be coming back. Shizuya jukes one, gets the kill, and here he comes. He's returned. Troy Oi likely going to be going down here. Bristleback doing his best to keep as much time away as he can, but unfortunately, it does look like they're going to turn it around. Shizuya's going to go down.
On the hammer! Keeps Ancient in the fight. Orange Sunset says, no, I can't have any of this. Troy as well survives. Aggressive buybacks out of QUT. Rax will be going down. That's game. There is no way they can bounce back from this. Ancient and Elite are just too big. Despite Orange Sunset's best efforts, there is no way he's going to be able to compete with this full 5-man QUT roster plus Megas.
I gotta say though, we talked about that random factor of mana void in fights. They're gonna be low on mana. You blink in his anti-mage, a few auto attacks, pop the R. He basically one-shot 2 people with that. And now we see Elite maybe getting a little bit too far. Orange Sunset blinks forward with the counter-strike. Popping the Manta style as well. Good use of the blink there to dodge out of the light strike away, but Hero and Kavoth not gonna be as lucky. And now we've got 3 members of UNSW here. All that's left to defend against Mega Creeps that are now encroaching on their Ancient. We're going to see all eyes on Orange Sunset here, dodging out of the Light Strike Array, but these oozes are going to be too much. Blink forward from Troy Oi into the Slitherine Crush, forcing the BKB out of the OD, but Winter's Curse might be enough. Here we go, Orange Sunset in the backline, but Cold Embrace used beautifully, and a massive sleep comes through from Tau. He held that ability for the whole team fight, and a massive Will-O-Wisp is going to deny 3 players from doing absolutely anything. The GGs come through, and G-War claim it up 1-1.
A massive bounce back here in Game 2. And I think, yeah, this is that adaptation between Game 1 and 2 that QUT needed. They were looking for that early game pressure, looking for that early game closeout, and their opponents looking for the late game. Unfortunately for QUT in Game 1, UNSW were able to weather the storm, go late game, get that Spectre and Dragon Knight online. Game 2, they say, we need to close this out fast. They bring in an anti-mage as the last. They understand how much aggression they need to bring to the table. Elite on the Lina just ramps that aggression up. The control they had, the abilities they had, they played that so very, very well. And I did question the Bristleback saying if you don't get yourself those items, get yourselves the last hits. The guy's 16-4. Ancient had a phenomenal game, 164 last hits. Orange had 302 and he couldn't even make a dent.
Yeah, just a super phenomenal game here. We saw Elite and Slayer, 2 players who, you know, maybe not the most impressive performances last game. I mean, Slayer did do well on the Necrophos, but unfortunately was not able to really carry with it. But the big factor there, the big difference was Elite. You must be wondering to yourself, why did they make him play Lina in Game 1? He was such a superstar on this hero, but they gave it to the substitute, put him on the Tinker instead, and unfortunately didn't quite have the same amount of success that we saw here with the position to Lina, as opposed to putting her on the support. So definitely really awesome to see. You know, we see a game where they pick that early game draft, they don't quite get the early game lead, and the Spectre scales out of control, and then Game 2 we're able to see a match where, you know, the same kind of drafts present themselves. They have this anti-mage, OD, Oracle, like big late game win condition, and then you just kind of have this early game comp that is actually able to run over them this time and really do what they set out to do. So well played. But that does mean, folks, that it's going to be a 1-1. So that is going to be a tie for tonight between the 2 teams. Definitely does mean that we've got quite the competitive group here and the competitive season ahead of us.
Yeah, it definitely heats things up, especially going into week 3. The implications there for both these teams, you know. Well, look, it's not the end, but there's still going to be a bit of a harder road, I think, for both of them. Unfortunately, I think, yeah, given the draft, given the way that they approached match 1, QUT hamstrung themselves a little bit, and we obviously got to see going into, you know, match 2, they had their priorities clear, they had their end game well and truly understood, and they played into that. I think match 1, the real tipping point was about the 20-minute mark, where Golden Experience just heavily dipped towards NSW. I mean, pre-10 minutes, it was just entirely the QUT show. They found early kills. Kavoth, unfortunately, had probably the worst game possible you could have as a support, just consistently getting caught. There was nothing he could do in lane. All he could do was stack, and he had multiple carries who wanted those stacks, so the gold ended up being shared. But yeah, look, it's room to improve.
One thing that is worth noting there is that Kavoth, the Lion that was in Game 2, not the same Lion that was in Game 1. That was a substitute that came through. Little bit of a poor game on his behalf, but I mean, that could just mean that, you know, maybe they do have, you know, their stronger player as their starting player, and maybe the more inexperienced player as their substitute. And this is kind of saying that, you know, maybe when they do have that full starting lineup, they are the better team, but, you know, due to a little bit of substitutes, they maybe unfortunately fell a little bit short. But we did see G-War as well implementing substitutes of their own this game, I believe. So this isn't even their starting lineup or their strongest form. So both of these teams really were not quite where we could possibly see them later in the season. And in my opinion, that is very exciting.
Yeah, look, it's especially in a competition like this, the University League. It's great to see teams develop week after week, coming into the playoffs, reaching that ultimate potential, and then coming into the playoff bracket full guns blazing. So definitely, look, there's room to improve for both teams, but seeing that development, seeing how they play out toward the later stage of the group, it's going to be very, very interesting to see. And well, like you said, Kadius, that does bring us to the end of the broadcast here. Once again, massive shout out to our sponsors, Chatime, keeping everyone hydrated, ready to go. Indomie, feeding the masses. The university student staple, AOC Monitors, who, look, I cannot play them up enough. If you want crisp, clean gameplay as a gamer, AOC is the way to go. And top quality audio, RIG, are the people to see. So make sure you hit them up if you're looking for that. And make sure you follow the socials as well. AU Esports League on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, everywhere you could want to find it. Not to mention Twitch as well. So make sure you hit those up. Kadius, but look, it's a 1-1 draw at the end of the day. Unfortunately, no big win by the team, but it just gives you hope going into the next one.
Honestly, a 1-1 tie makes me more excited than a win or a loss ever could, because it just means that if we're having close competition like this, only in the group stage, you can only imagine what things are going to be like as it gets more heated. So make sure to follow right here on whether it be YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, you name it, to catch all of the AU Esports live streams and catch the upcoming Dota 2 Season 2 streams that we've got coming your way, because this competition is only going to be heating up from here. But thank you so much for joining me on the casting desk tonight, Blue Panda. For someone that, has their roots in Rainbow Six, I gotta say, you were definitely at comfort here in the Defense of the Ancients landscape, and it was a pleasure having you with me. And to all of you at home, thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.